You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning, everyone. All together again. Kevin Bowen, James Boyd, Mark Dykton. I'm Jeff Rickard, and Kevin Bowen returning from paternity leave after James Boyd returned from Germany. Good morning, KB. And you've got a new member of your family to talk about this morning. How's everything going over there?
Yeah, I must say, paternity leave would have been nice. Days off, unfortunately, PTO is where I had to go here over the last 4 days. But great, healthy, pooping, peeing, spitting.
Well, how's Nelly doing, though?
Yeah, Dad and Nelly, right? Things are great. You definitely see some hours of the night that I haven't seen in quite a while. But welcome to having a young baby. But the most important part's healthy and happy, Mom and Nelly. So thank you guys for the text. So many listeners reaching out, and it's been a fun handful of days.
Baby number 3, do you remember, are your swaddling skills still intact? Are they getting sharp? Are they honed up?
They need a lot of work. To say the least. All my creases, all my edges are not maybe as crisp as I thought they were. Lovely blowout last night, which I was like, damn, I forgot how messy this can get. And how can a human that small produce that a bunch of?
It's all coming back to you now, isn't it?
I almost said the word there. I thought Mark was reaching for the dumb button there. So
I was a little nervous. You've been off for a little bit, so you might have forgotten some rules.
Honestly, I kind of forgot myself. So, it's been quite the reintroduction into those things.
What was the full name again?
Annalise is her first name. Like Rosie, no middle name for her. So, yeah, Annalise Bowen, and then we were going to call her Nelly.
Nice. Very nice. Well, congratulations. We're all very excited for you and excited to have you back and excited to start talking about everything else.
Once the blowouts are over.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Once she's potty trained, James Boyd's your guy.
Honestly, probably the funniest moment so far was when, the umbilical cord, not to get too graphic here, but, that's obviously attached for, it actually fell off last night during the blowout. So it's attached for whatever, the first, week or so. Max Bowen, a little confused on human anatomy.
I would imagine so.
I will say, I'll just leave it at that.
Wait, what?
I don't know if I'm allowed. Am I allowed to say the male anatomy part?
Yes,
we get
that's scientific.
Yeah.
You can say it.
Max getting out of the bathtub the other night. Hey, you want to help Nelly? Want to help me change Nelly? So we're changing Nelly. Dad, what is her penis doing? Well, Max, that's actually a very key ingredient to keeping her alive, Max, for the last 10 months here.
But they'll ask the obvious questions. He wants to know. He needs to know.
Respect Max.
They will ask a lot of questions, like any good journalist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Getting to the bottom of the story.
And how's Rosie? She already the consummate big sister?
Yeah, she's loving on her little sister. It's been very cool to see. Rosie in my eyes has grown up like infinitely over the last handful of days, which I don't know if I'm ready for that just yet.
And also we know that Maddie's just doing great, right?
Yeah,
she's doing all right.
I got win. Thank you to you guys. Maddie's updated her LinkedIn. Did you give her GOAT of the weekend?
We did.
Did I hear this correctly?
Yeah, Jeff named her GOAT of the week.
Thank you, Jeff. Very kind of her. Yeah, she's updated her LinkedIn profile. She calls that the greatest accomplishment of her 36 years on this earth.
Well, she does a lot. We know that every single day. So
puts up with you, that's for sure.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome back. We're excited to have you. As I mentioned, James is back from Berlin where he watched the Colts, and we got a lot to talk about today. Lou Anarumo emerging as a potential candidate for the New York Giants, guys. What do you know about this, James Boyd?
Nothing. I actually don't know. I haven't heard anything about this, so I'll have to check on this.
Yeah, some of the national reports coming out this morning saying that, he's a guy that had spent a little bit of time around there, but they're looking at him maybe, Steve Spagnuolo from Kansas City, Antonio Pierce possibly, the former Giant and then one-year coach and interim coach of the Raiders. And by the way, the Raiders haven't really turned it around under Pete Carroll, have they? They're not doing all that well either. So lots going on there, and the Colts obviously on the bye week this week. There's one other person I have to talk about today. And I know you guys have been busy. Did anybody check out Hannah Hidalgo for Notre Dame last night, Kevin? Did you see what she pulled off?
I'm not wearing the shirt.
So she had 16 steals, which made
reason.
me think when she played a Division I opponent, that's pretty crazy. But
28 minutes of basketball she played last night against Akron. Not only did she have 16 steals, but she set a Notre Dame program record for 44 points in a game. And again, played 28 minutes. And it's Akron. That's a MAC conference. It's not a
it's not Division II school or anything like that.
Team 345 in the nation.
Oh, I'm judging very hard though.
She is incredible.
Just be happy for her.
I'm very happy for her. I'm judging the other team, not her. The other team.
I was watching
16 steals, by the way, is an
absurd.
NCAA record.
Yeah, that's
period.
absurd. I don't care
or...
who you're playing. If one person gets 16 steals against you, you probably are not on the same level with them at all.
So I went up
that
and
is
looked up all
terrible.
the highlights, like the game highlights. Somebody had strung together her every point, and it was constantly just her picking the pocket of somebody and taking it to the other end. And it made me think of Cade Cunningham, who the other night scored 45 points on 42 shots. She did it on 25 shots, 44 points on 25 shots.
I mean, 28 minutes. You know, the women's
insane.
game is 40 minutes long. So, I mean, to do it in that. And I looked it up, like, for what it's worth, Akron has picked to finish kind of like middle of the pack in the MAC. So, again, this is not, you know, insert your athletes in action or whoever your exhibition team is. So, yeah, quite the individual performance from Hannah Hidalgo last night.
Yeah, and also Indiana Hoosiers jacking up the threes and hitting them, and everything we've been promised starting to look pretty good for the Indiana Hoosiers. They remade the entire team in the offseason, as we know. They were 14-28 from three-point range last night. An easy night with the Milwaukee Panthers down there in Bloomington, but as we've talked about, James, they get the ball up and down the floor, they hit the three, and they just keep the ball moving, man. I don't know how good they're going to be when it comes to Big Ten play and everything like that, but they're fun to watch so far, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they can light it up, and this looks totally different than what we saw the last couple of years with Woody down in Bloomington. So count me in on shooting threes and making shots.
All right, looking forward to that. Purdue with another big signing. They picked up a big 7'1" Chinese center named last name Wan, and I'm looking forward to, once again, Matt Painter just keeps recruiting, and he seems like the kind of guy that's perfect for a Matt Painter program. Big guy with some skills, shot blocker, and we all know what happens after about 3-4 years with Matt Painter. You end up going to the NBA probably.
Yeah, I can't wait for Purdue tonight. Purdue at Alabama, I think one of the early games of the year in college basketball. I love the fact that these two programs, they did the Toronto thing a few years ago with Zach Edey. They now have done the home and home. It was at the Purdue-Alabama game last year in Mackey, just an awesome atmosphere. C.J. Cox went nuts in the second half over a few-minute stretch there. It kind of broke that game open. And Trey Kaufman-Wren was outstanding. That was kind of one of his early coming-out parties. And, of course, we haven't seen him yet here in the regular season action. By all accounts, it sounds like he is going to play tonight. So Purdue, a road underdog. Alabama with one of the better wins so far on this young season. They beat St. John's in Madison Square Garden. So Purdue and Bama tonight, 7 o'clock. That is appointment television, which is needed considering we have Patriots and Jets.
YouTube TV people fire up those illegal streams because it's on ESPN2.
Don't worry, your boy will be locked in.
I know, me too. I'm right there with you, brother.
Are you right there now with the illegal streams? Or are you good to go?
That a cop question?
Yeah.
Man.
But I mean, I've watched every game I
You
wanted
think
to
they're
watch.
going to come find you or something?
I don't know. Are you a cop?
No.
Just making sure. But
This has been great for the Cord. This has been a big win for us Cord people. And I'm not talking the umbilical
I was
cord
about
either.
to say you're on a roll here this morning with the courts.
I love it. All right, so we got a lot to do today. The band is back together again. Mark Dyken's going to be spinning the tunes today, and I know he's got some surprises set up for us as well. As always, you can get a hold of us on the fan text line. You want to say congrats to Kevin. That's good, too. 239-1070. We'll get it all started next on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
935 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning, and we've made it all the way to Thursday, the start of another NFL week. Comes later on tonight. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. The Colts, of course, are off on a bye this week. They will play at Kansas City a week from Sunday. And looking through some of the national reports, Ian Rappaport amongst them, saying that one of the top three candidates for the vacant New York Giants job could be defensive coordinator for the Colts, Lou Anarumo. Kind of out of left field, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. I haven't given it too much thought, to be totally honest with you. I guess a couple of years ago, Lou was kind of a hot coaching candidate. I don't know about the New York Connect. I mean, he was there for 1 year. I don't know if that all of a sudden turns you into a candidate. But, oftentimes, I guess, what do we see with these hires? We see 180s from the previous hire. Well, Brian Dable is a quieter offensive mind. Lou Anarumo's got, I think, a little bit more fire to him, the Long Island native. Maybe he will be an actual candidate for him. I don't know if there's a connection there with Joe Shane, the DePaul grad, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to the Monon Bell coming up this Saturday. So, yeah, my brain is not ready for Black Monday coaching hires just yet.
Well, we just try to focus on being 8-2 and on top of the AFC. Things going pretty well for the Indianapolis Colts right now. And again, as I mentioned, a week from Sunday, they will be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. So a lot to get ready for there. All right, as far as the Indiana Pacers are concerned, they're still trying to get a little bit healthier. They will finish up a 4-game road trip tonight in Salt Lake City against the Utah Jazz. That one will start at 9 p.m. Eastern. Just for the tip there,
Aren't
our
they in
coverage
Phoenix?
begins at, in Phoenix. They just got done with the Jazz. Thank you very much. This is why we have you around, James. Keep me straight and narrow.
All good.
There.
I got you.
Yeah, they just came off the game against the Jazz. They're in Phoenix tonight against the Suns, finishing up the 4-game road trip there. 8:30 is airtime with Mark Boyle and Pat Boylan right here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Looking for just their second win of the year, James Boyd. It's time to get going here. Let's get it done,
it's been
man.
time to get going. But as I told you all, as the losses pile up, starting to look at, okay, do you punt on this season? I know that's not what the Pacers typically do, but is it worth it considering this year's draft class? A lot of great young talent.
It's a weird thing.
Hey, I'm serious.
It's kind of weird to say it for the Pacers, but it might end up working out in their favor when it's all said and done for the long run. Certainly not this year, and we never would have wanted the injury to Tyrese Halliburton, of course. But.
Yes, this is glass half full as much as you can view it that way.
Yeah. All right. Last night in the NBA, some fireworks. The Warriors and the Spurs with a great game. What would you say, Kevin, if I said Victor Wembanyama scored at home 31 points, had 15 rebounds and 10 assists? You'd think you'd be okay with the Spurs, right?
Very good basketball player.
Golden State Warriors have a guy named Steph Curry. He scored 46, and the Warriors win on the road 125-120. Entertaining basketball game. And Nikola Jokic still right there as an MVP candidate, man. 55 as the Nuggets drop the Clippers on the road 130-116. He just continues to amaze at his size and the way he plays.
Yeah, he is an all-time great, probably a top 20 player of all time already. And right now, he's just adding to the resume.
Yeah, a lot of fun to watch NBA right now, and college basketball entertaining. IU with a home win over Milwaukee last night, 101-70 down in Bloomington. Tatum Conaway had 21 points. He was fun to watch. And how about Lamar Wilkerson, Kevin? 24. The team shot 14 of 28 from three-point range, and everything Darren DeVries said it was going to do. So far, it's early, 3-0. They haven't gotten into Big Ten play and haven't played like a monster team yet, but everything he said they were going to do, they've done so far.
Yeah, they share it. They shoot the hell out of it. Maybe there will be later questions to be answered defensively and rebounding-wise, but offensively, it's damn impressive to watch. I think it's what people have been clamoring for, frankly, for years, just an approach to really modern basketball. And last night, especially when Tucker DeVries only has 2 at halftime after he had, 24 against Marquette at halftime, and for you to have put up 50 in the first half just goes to show you. You mentioned Wilkerson, Conaway as well. I know Nick Dorn didn't play a lot off the bench as he's been banged up, but I thought he had some intriguing minutes when he was in there as well. So, yeah, extremely impressive. And I know you guys talked about the game, I'm sure, on Monday, but to put up 100 on Shaka Smart, I mean, teams just don't do that. So offensively, it is light years from what we're used to here recently in Bloomington.
Setting up for a really exciting college basketball season in these parts. Of course, preseason number 1, Purdue, they're down to number 2 right now, but they got a big one tonight. They will take their number 2 ranking into Alabama, who's ranked number 8 right now. That is going to be, for me, appointment television, James, must-see TV. I know where I'll be tonight watching that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think early in the college basketball season, sometimes it's hard for me to get excited for the matchups because, they're just not really on the same level of opponents sometimes early in the year. But this is a marquee matchup for sure, an early test for Braden Smith and company. And I'm sure whatever happens in this game, the reactions will be measured.
Well, one of the things we love about Matt Painter, Kevin, is that he's not afraid to play all these tough teams right out of the gate. He wants to get his team ready for the tournament starting right now.
No, I mean, last year they, Auburn? They went down to Auburn. I think I got blitzed, honestly, by Auburn. But, when they faced Houston in the Sweet 16, Matt Painter was adamant, that's why you schedule the way you do. And they took Houston all the way down to the wire. So I think that's some of the thought process here. So, yeah, I mean, they got Iowa State coming up later. I think they go to the Bahamas here next week. I believe they also will play Marquette at some point, and I want to say Auburn is the game in the Indy Classic this year at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So Matt Painter, a non-conference schedule, always has some notable opponents, and this is certainly one tonight. And eager to see Trey Kaufman-Wren make his regular season debut because I think in the first couple of games, especially that Oakland game, you definitely missed your All-American forward.
Yeah, I think he had a minor hip injury he suffered in a practice about 2 weeks ago, and so he should be okay, and they need him tonight, and he's ready to go, hopefully, and it'll be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to that one. Also, last night, we mentioned it in the open. If you're just joining us and turning on the radio, what a performance from Hannah Hidalgo, player at Notre Dame. They beat the Akron Zips 85-58. All she did was set an NCAA record with 16 steals and a school record 44 points. They are ranked number 18 right now. She's a preseason All-America selection. And she was 3 of 6 from three-point range, 16 of 25 from the field. I don't know what's more impressive, the 16 steals or the 44 points on 25 shots.
Both are extremely
It's got to
impressive.
be 16 steals.
It's got to be. It's an NCAA record.
I am going to die on this hill. If you are an NCAA Division I team and you allow one person to get 16 steals against you, you should be dropped the division.
Now, I think it's no surprise to people. This is her thing. Like, she is.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah,
but, pick the ball up and can you throw a skip pass?
And again, Akron, I mean, they were
My
finished
goodness.
middle of the pack of the MAC. I mean,
Well, not now.
Didn't we have the Ball State women's
I don't
coach
believe
on
that.
back in the spring when they made the tournament? I'm like, oh my gosh, here. So, yeah, Hidalgo is a special talent. She's the best player in college basketball, I think, especially with Juju Watkins getting hurt.
Yeah. Mark, we had more Major League Baseball awards handed out yesterday.
Yeah, because they can't just get it done.
I'm about to say, isn't the award over
It
with?
just goes for like
World
10
Series
business
was
days.
decided. How many weeks ago was this?
It just keeps going.
Pirates' Paul Skeens unanimously wins the National League Cy Young Award, only his second season, of course, and the Tigers' Tarek Skubal takes home the American League Cy Young Award for the second straight year. No big surprises there, Mark, but do they have any hardware left to give away anymore? Is that it?
I'm sure there's still MVP and all
sure.
that. But yeah,
They haven't announced MVP yet. Lord have mercy.
no, it says it's coming tonight. So we'll get NL and AL MVPs, and I think that's finally it. But it's been going on for what feels like 2 weeks. I'm
So-
like, just do it in one night. I don't get it.
So, question: did they in Major League Baseball give out the awards like they used to in the NBA? Because I loved it when the NBA used to give it out during a playoff game.
Right, because it made it special. There was a
Yeah.
crowd there. You could celebrate.
So, did that ever happen with baseball, or
No,
was
I
it
think
always
so.
like
These guys are in like
ah,
Costa Rica hanging out on vacation.
I know. I'm
Hey,
like,
I got a text. I guess I won MVP.
I feel like that adds to the playoff atmosphere.
It completely does. But anyway, that's what's happening in the world of sports. We also had mentioned in the first segment, for those Purdue fans out there, they have snagged 7'1" center Sinan Huan, a 4-star prospect from China. That rounds out a top 15 class for Matt Painter that includes, of course, Luke Ertl from Mount Vernon, wing Jacob Weber, and power forward Rivers Knight. And he just keeps bringing people in year after year after year, Kevin. It's really impressive.
Yeah, I think I saw a note where it's only the third time in the Painter era he's had a top 25 class, which goes to show you how impressive it has been drafting and developing. And certainly that roster is a perfect example of it, particularly in the backcourt with Braden Smith and Fletcher Loyer.
All right, coming up in a moment, our first chance as a group here to get together during the bye week for the Colts as we start to assess what they've accomplished so far in the first half of the season, what they need to accomplish in the second half of the season. We'll do some of that and take some of your texts and phone calls as well. 239-1070. It's the Fan Morning Show, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan, high atop the circle.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning and welcome into a Thursday here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Kevin Bowen is back from a few days off for the birth of his third child, a daughter. We're excited about that. James Boyd, a couple of days back from Germany. Now, how did you sleep last night? Did you just hang out and go to in the apartment and just sleep all day yesterday, recover?
No, I actually went down to IU. Shout out to Mike Wells, who has joined the show many times. Spoke to his journalism class. Had a good time there and got a meal on campus. Got stopped to ask where the dorms were, and I said, I don't go to school here, so I have no idea where to point you. And the
Where'd you eat?
What's the place called? Is it something Louis something?
Buffalo Louis?
Yes, Buffalo Louis. Actually,
Great spot.
Burger was fire.
Yeah.
The venue was better than the burger, and that's not no knock on the burger.
Yeah.
I actually like that setup a lot. I would
unique
watch many
spot,
games
yeah.
there. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying
We did
to like
a radio
knock a few,
show there back in college.
Yeah, I'm trying to knock a few places off the list. So whenever I make a trip down there, I try to hit something that I guess you're supposed to experience when you're in Bloomington. So it was a good trip down there. But yeah, I'm back to regular sleep schedule. And like I told you all, I wasn't too jet lagged getting off the plane because I slept pretty much 90% of it.
What do you and Wells talk about? Carson Wentz by any chance?
Carson has a nice touch on his balls.
I did tell him that I needed the audio clip with me in the moment because he was like, I'm so glad that Mark is not here to embarrass me in front of
Scotty
us.
is looking hot in the back of the studio right now. You and Mark are double teaming me.
Yes.
Just an endless
I can hear the
parade.
Wells cackle from Bloomington right now.
I know. Good dude.
He's probably driving his kids to school right now. It's like, don't listen to the radio right now. Just don't listen to the radio. Speaking of Bloomington tonight, JMV is going to be at the Upstairs Pub. You ever frequented that place?
Oh, certainly.
Kevin?
Well, it looks a whole lot more modern. Honestly, it looks like the IU offense, frankly, than what it used to look like there. So yeah, that'll be a great time
Oh, he
there.
is
for,
down there. You know what was
for
crazy?
JMV and Brent Holverson.
I was talking to his class, Wells' class, and he says, oh, by the way, hold on, James. You just reminded me talking about 107.5 The Fan, your radio stuff. JMV will be here tomorrow, and for all my students over 21, he promised you free drinks. So go, but don't embarrass me. So
Free samples.
there
right?
you go.
Yeah.
Free samples.
Someone might have wanted to tell the Upstairs Pub in JMV that Wellesley just promised those free samples.
Hey, I told him, hey, you're still representing your university, and if you want to be a journalist, you probably don't want to be the lit journalist.
Yeah. Talk about the Colts now. They are sitting on top of the AFC. They've got a record of 8-2. I know that people are concerned going into the bye week about that offensive line and really the way Daniel Jones has protected the football. And they've come out 1-1 in their last two games. Obviously, the road game they lost at Pittsburgh, and then they found a way to just Jonathan Taylor bash you over the head and beat Atlanta in Berlin. But you take a look at really where the rubber meets the road. Points scored and points allowed right now, Kevin. We can talk all we want about yards and this, that, the other thing. But right now, the Colts are the number one scoring team in the National Football League at just over 30 points per game. And their defense has not been that bad, by the way. They have allowed the ninth fewest points at 20.6 points per game. I don't know about you, but if your averages are scoring 30 and you're only giving up 20, that's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, I think the question entering the bye week is the last 2 weeks, is that more indicative of who this team is? You know, will that be more of the case as you face more of these types of opponents? Not even Atlanta. Honestly, Atlanta's probably on paper the easiest opponent you'll face the rest of the season. You know, more games away from home will definitely be the case here as they return from the bye week. And, you know, I'm sure you guys hit on this a lot as the week moved on. Like Monday, you know, it's the pure jubilation of what Omar Cooper Jr. did in Happy Valley, what Jonathan Taylor did in Berlin. And as you get further away from that, do we look at those performances and say, hey, wins are wins, championship resolve, that's part of, you know, the course of the season? Or do you sit there and say, you know what, there might be a little bit more holes that we should pay attention to here? Like, is this something that all of a sudden could arise? I think that's like the tough balance of, you know, when you look at these games and you just say, hey, it's a win. Who cares? Wash your hands of it. Everything's good. Michael Badgley's a great kicker. Or do you sit there and say, there might be a few other things here that are starting to show up a little bit more, and we can choose to ignore them, but if we do, they might show up again when you face better competition.
Yeah, I think we kind of settled on the latter there, where there's a lot of things to clean up and the schedule starts to get really tough over the next several weeks, starting with when you get back. I mean, Kansas City looks like they're starting to hit stride now that they've got Rashee Rice back, and they're kind of doing their thing again. You go on the road and you play a good game in Kansas City against a team that's been playing pretty well. I don't even know. certainly you want to see them win that game, James. But if they can take Kansas City right down to the wire, give them everything they want on their home field, that's probably not the worst thing. Although you certainly at 8-2 want to go out with a victory, right?
Absolutely. I do think if they lose this game, it'll just be more of they're not for real. The Chiefs are supposed to be wounded this year. You couldn't beat them, all those things. I kind of lean more towards this, Kevin. With IU, it's your first win ever at Happy Valley. So that feels different to me. I don't care how you get it done. You just get it done. And it was a fantastic catch moment. And as I told these guys, me, Stephen Holder, and Joey Erickson were watching this game through various avenues in a little place in Berlin. And I had the phone propped up on the little water bottle, and the waiter kept trying to move it to get the water. And I'm like, hold on, brother. There's a game going on here, but nobody cared except for us three watching that game.
Isn't technology wild?
I know. Honestly, I think I'm probably like the last generation that grew up without a cell phone. Like, I didn't have a phone until I think I was in high school. That just doesn't happen anymore. But anyways, as far as the Colts go, I do think there's more flaws there and more reasons to be concerned. The kicker position, I know Jake Arthur asked about it on the Colts beat with Shane, and Shane just kind of dismissed it. Oh, we're not looking at kickers this week during the bye week. Maybe you probably should. And then the offensive line, problematic to me. 12 sacks over the last 2 games compared to, I think, 9 through the first 8. And then Daniel Jones, 7 turnovers over the last 2. And I've dealt with a lot of those comments, Kevin, over the last couple of days of, they won. They showed their grittiness and their toughness. Why are you hating on Daniel Jones? I'm not hating at all. Any quarterback in the league that commits 7 turnovers in 2 games is going to get criticized. So we have to figure out, is it just him? Is it the offensive line? Is this, just 2 games that's a blip, or is this a trend that teams have kind of figured you out?
Yeah, the Daniel Jones thing. First off, again, I apologize I feel like I'm the one that's showing up late to the party, and so I have to go back to Sunday a little bit here. But the 3rd and 21 scramble. I mean, talk about plays that
he was clutch at the end. I got to give him that.
We should pay attention to, a little bit more as the year moves along. I thought the sail route to Warren in overtime, even the 4th and 2, I thought that was kind of a tough throw to make.
If that ball's anywhere else.
Billy Bowman had great coverage there, and yet he threw, and, Warren, of course, makes a terrific grab. But, yeah, with Jones, it's wild. Like, I saw a stat the other day where Tua's the only quarterback in the NFL with more fumbles and interceptions than Daniel Jones. Like,
career-wise, or
no,
just this year?
Season.
Wow.
I mean, think about that, Daniel. Like, you wouldn't even put Daniel Jones and Tua in the same stratosphere.
Yeah.
And like the other quarterbacks around him, Bryce Young and Mac Jones, those other guys that are down there. Daniel Jones has been that good in the other stuff that it's like, okay, do you pay attention to the turnovers? Because for the first 6 or 7 games, what was Daniel Jones doing historically well? He was defying the back of his own baseball card. Whenever he would get pressured, he was feasting. And he never had done that in his career. Well, now, when the pressure is starting to rise, and by pressure I legitimately mean like pass rush, when the pressure is starting to get there, he now is turned into a pumpkin. So that's the question you have. That's more indicative of Jones' career. That's who he has been. So again, do we look at the first month and a half and say, no, that's going to be there more? Or do we sit here and say, hey, it's a regression to the mean and all that? Because I go back to this quote quite often with quarterback play, and I know Peyton Manning, hell, he probably said it Monday night during the Manning cast. He says it quite often. Arguably the most important job of a quarterback is to identify a bad play and not make it worse. Well, right now, when the bad plays have risen, more often than not, Daniel Jones has then made them worse. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the question exiting the bye. Do you need to have, not 7-step drops because your offensive tackles have had some struggles? Do you need to find the hot reads better? Do you need to, again, get to your whatever, 2nd or 3rd read a little bit quicker than he has? I think those are all some questions that you do have because you are going to face, defensive coordinators that are pretty exotic. Steve Spagnuolo topped the list right out of the bye week, and, Houston's got one of the better defenses in the league, and, Seattle's front, I think, can get after you as well. So those are all going to be some questions post-bye week to answer.
It's interesting you say that because when you go back and you look at those glory days of Peyton Manning and Brady, and when they would go back and forth, you remember sometimes where Peyton would just collapse, like in the middle of the pocket. The pocket itself was coming in on him, and rather than try and spin away or get something done or look for that last outlet guy, he's like, all right, I'll take the 5 yards and we'll just move on to the next one.
Like that screen where Jones, I thought, could have dirted it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And he got hit in the blind side early 3rd quarter. I mean, that is again, no down and distance, know where you are, you're in field goal range, survive to see the next play. And an incompletion there saves you 6 or 7 yards. Well, even a sack, as long as you hold on to it, it saves you keeping the ball there. So I think those are just some questions you have with Jones here. Again, he's been so good in so much of the other stuff this season. And I did think he showed Sunday probably the most leg element to his game all year. And I think it is a reminder of that is there, and it can be a huge weapon. And without it, the Colts, we're talking about a Colts team with a 2-game losing streak heading out of their bye week.
And you go back to 2022 when he had that great season with the Giants. A lot of those games, I can remember him peeling off 40, 50-yard runs sometimes when there was just he'd roll out to the right side and there was like nobody in front of him. He's like, okay, I'll take off. And he would do his thing. But, yeah, he's got to take care of the football better. And, here's a text, too, that a lot of people wonder, too. Adam says if he doesn't get sacked 7 times, he won't turn it over as much. How concerned are you with that offensive line? And given the Pittsburgh game and then given what Atlanta was able to do as well, is that him holding on to the ball too long? Is it a combination of things? Is it the offensive line all of a sudden is having trouble picking up a blitz? What's going on there?
Yeah, I think a mixture of both. I mean, there were one of the sacks Taylor just whiffed on Sunday too. I mean, it's a combination of things, but I think in general it's the edge pressure. And again, what is that? Is that more of a, hey, I go back to the Pittsburgh game when TJ Watt gets after him on that play specifically, it looked like he was trying to take the shot to Pierce. Well, hard to blame him. Has Alec Pierce ever dropped a deep ball? No. Like, you just throw it up to Pierce and he comes down with it. But on that play, again, it's a first down play where you're in scoring range. You've got Tyler Warren for a check down. So I think those are some of the dilemmas that Shane Steichen, as a play caller, has to decide, okay, when are the 7-step drops going to be dialed up? When they are, how conscious is Daniel Jones for knowing that? And then do you eliminate some of that stuff? Do you live with, hey, let's get more of the 3 and the 5-step, get a little bit more in rhythm? Because right now our tackles, which I think they have struggled a little bit here, definitely not used to that because they are 2 of the higher paid players on your team.
Yeah. The other thing, James, is we all know bye weeks are for self-scouting and really taking a look at your own team. What do you think the biggest thing that Shane Steichen and his staff are concerned with this week as they break down the first 10 games of the season and say, okay, I see where teams are coming after us right there?
What we just talked about, pass protection. Again, it looked great through the first 8 games of the year, and it has not looked great the last 2 games. So how do you correct that? Because Daniel Jones looks like a totally different quarterback when he's pressured and not pressured. And that probably goes for a lot of quarterbacks in this league, but especially for him. And to Kevin's point, yes, he was kind of bucking his own trends, so to speak, early on this year, but we have seen him revert a little bit back to the quarterback we've seen in New York. And I'm not saying he's fully Giants Daniel Jones anymore, but I can't say like the entire issue up front is all on the O-line or it's all on him, but either way, the protection has to get better and him holding on to the ball, whether it's getting rid of the ball quicker, your check downs, whether it's, having a stouter offensive line to begin with where some of these guys have whiffed. I don't think that, like, for example, Braden Smith and Bernard Ryman have played their best football as of late. But at the same time, you did win. So I guess you can take some solace in that. But I think it's how you win, too, which will ultimately determine, how far you can go. Because you play with fire kind of like this, I do think that ultimately you can't rely on JT bailing you out like he did in Berlin.
I don't know, every time I turn around, it's 3 touchdowns, Kevin. It just keeps going on and on and on. And I was going to ask you this. I know you were busy, so I don't know if you got to watch all 3 games. The Indiana game. Did you get to watch the Notre Dame game? Did you get to watch the Colts? And if you did get to see all 3, of the 3 plays, which was your personal favorite? The Jeremiah Love spin around on top of a Navy guy and cruise off for, I think, a 46-yard touchdown. The Omar Cooper unbelievable gravity-defying, physics-defying catch in the back of the end zone, or the Jonathan Taylor, he stopped way back at the line of scrimmage. Oh, wait, no, he's not. He's going to sweep it around the left side and take it to the house. Of those 3, which was your favorite?
Did I watch the Notre Dame game?
Well, I didn't know you might have been otherwise engaged with a brand new human being in your house.
We did push-ups with Nelly. I was still very much in the hospital for all 3 of those games. By the way, the fall baby, we've had June and September. Max's first sporting events were Notre Dame Marshall. Yeah, that didn't go well. And then Rodrigo Blankenship tying the tying the Texans, Colts Texans. So the fall baby is great. Got in there on a Friday. and then it's just all sports.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. No one told me this.
It's not too bad.
June 12th, Rosie COVID baby was awful. I'm like, can you get Russian darts on here?
Just
this
wait.
Is like reruns from NFL Network, 1984. I feel like I'm watching the 72 Dolphins here. So obviously it's the Cooper catch. I mean, it's all of it. The leaping ability, the actual catch, and the toe tap. I mean, it's you guys have. I mean, it's one of the greatest catches ever. And like for that catch, I thought the Charlie Becker catch earlier on the drive was absurd. And yet when Cooper does that, it's like, yeah, Charlie Becker, go back to the bench. We got Elijah Surratt coming back. It's like it's such a shame that play doesn't get talked about enough, because without it, you don't even have the opportunity for 3rd and goal there to Cooper. And what a huge play early in the drive when Mendoza gets sacked and you find Cooper down the seam to get you out of whatever, 2nd and 1,000,000 there. So I know maybe our local audience that watched him, whatever he did in high school, is kind of used to that. The variety of things he did at LN, but damn, that was so impressive. And pray for Gus Johnson's voice. Has it recovered since?
I don't know if Gus has recovered since. There were a lot of people split on that. Was that a great call or was it a terrible call? Because social media couldn't make up their mind.
Sounds like it's a breaking news sounder. Social media couldn't make up their minds.
Oh, sometimes they'll make up their minds. It's usually not a good thing. But no, whatever it was fantastic. And I keep finding myself, every time it pops up on my feeds, I just watch it again and again and again. But, I mean, talk about being treated to 3 incredible performances. I mean, the fact that JT goes for, 244 yards, and if you take away the 83-yard touchdown run, he still had 161 yards.
Yeah, I mean, each of those plays were just, highlight reel, end of the season. You lead off with that. I had already I think I had already cussed at the TV that Jeremiah Love had a tackle for loss on that play. And the Taylor play, I not only did he did the Falcons give up, I think there were some Colts players that kind of thought the play was over too. And obviously he breaks it off there. So all 3 of them, just special talents. And, especially, from a running back standpoint, I mean, what Love and Taylor can create there. I selfishly, I hope Jeremiah Love at least gets the invite to New York, because I think he deserves it.
In trouble! It's out! Touchdown! Wow! A walk-on play! Unbelievable!
Omar Cooper broke Gus Johnson.
I thought he was crying.
broke it.
It almost sounded like he was crying.
Sounds like me being like, all right, I'm finally going to talk to her during this passing period. I go up to her locker, and then my voice sounds like that.
I liked the effort. The delivery was probably not his best. I've heard Gus have some great calls. One of my favorite calls he's ever made was when Isaiah Thomas, lefty, made the crazy shot. I want to say it was a Pac-12 tournament championship.
Yeah.
He's like, cold-blooded.
Yeah.
That was great. But
I can see that highlight.
I couldn't hear him, honestly. That was rough on that one.
Yeah, that got real cracky real quick.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to listen to a lot of these calls, and I know in Berlin it was fun to watch on social media the different languages in German and the British guys making the call for Jonathan Taylor on that long touchdown run. It's one of those things. I like listening to big moments described by people I don't even understand sometimes, their foreign languages, but I was able to understand. And I don't know if you have a chance to get it or not. You still have it. The British call. They were there to do the NFL game for the Colts and the Falcons. Here's the British call for Jonathan Taylor.
Under centre now, Daniel Jones has Pittman going in motion, has Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, gives it to Taylor up the middle, gets the yardage needed for the first down, maybe a yard more. He's out to the outside, they haven't brought him down, out to the 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Taylor can go all the way here. He's got 2 blockers. He's going to go all the way. 10, 5, touchdown, Colts! Jonathan Taylor! Unbelievable! And with that, he breaks Edgerrin James' Indianapolis Colts rushing touchdown record. This man is special indeed, and he's carrying this team to what could now be an 8-2 record.
I thought that was fantastic.
I feel smarter just listening to that.
I thought it was Matt Taylor impersonating a British person.
Kudos to him, though, of immediately understanding the context of the touchdown, too.
Yeah,
Man had done his homework.
Yes, certainly did. And Taylor, that run for Taylor obviously speaks for itself. I thought both the runs in overtime, where he makes those Falcons dudes just miss, both those DBs. I think it was Bowman on the first one in the backfield, and then Jesse Bates on the game winner. Like, he's making, defensive backs just absolutely break their ankles. Like, you don't see that very often in the NFL. Like, dudes somewhat close to the line of scrimmage get their ankles broken to that degree. And he's done that several times this year. I go back to that Denver run when he was about to get tackled in the backfield week 2 of the season. It was going to be a loss. Colts were a little bit backed up. He breaks those dudes' ankles and takes off for 60 or something down the sideline. Like, that element to Taylor. Why? Okay, why is he doing this season? I continue to go back to health. Health. I mean, how many running backs 10 weeks into the season haven't been on the injury report yet?
Yeah, no, it was pretty impressive. And he does. You're right. He's got that. I don't know how you describe it, James. It's kind of like a little slide step that he does when he first gets the ball, when he sees that first defensive guy coming, and he's just so much quicker than everybody else. He does that little shake and slide. Somebody commits, and it's over for them, man. It's crazy to watch.
Yeah, his long speed is unbelievable. And I guess in a way you were kind of waiting for him to have a game like that where they could really use him as a workhorse. A lot of his big games this year prior to that one, they weren't this level of touches. And I guess it's perfect for you to have that sort of workload to go straight into the bye week. So I'm sure he'll be fresh to go for the second half of the season. But, yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. He has been remarkably healthy this year. Knock on wood there. And if he can stay that way and continue to play this way, he has a legitimate shot to be in the MVP conversation. And I know running backs don't win it, but, boy, you keep putting up performances like this. I mean, how many more 3-touchdown performances do you need to start legitimizing your chances?
If he did somehow break LaDainian Tomlinson's single-season touchdown record, is that in itself, and the Colts have a great season, are those two things combined enough to get him over the hump with quarterbacks?
I think if they go like 13-4, he does that, yeah, he's got to be MVP. I will say this, though, and I keep hammering it. I feel like Matthew Stafford's coming on as of late.
Yeah,
21 touchdowns, 2 picks. So if that guy ends the year with 40 touchdowns and 4 picks, it'd be hard not to give it to him either. So, but I think, yeah, if you break LaDainian Thomas's record for total touchdowns from scrimmage in a season, I mean, if that doesn't get you MVP, we might as well just say you will never win this award unless you're a quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's going to take a few more of those moments in the standalone windows, too. As bad as that sounds, I think you need Heisman MVP type moments, and I thought that's why I was so critical for him on Sunday. If he wants to win the award, to do that when you're the only game in town. Now, again, you're going to have to get flexed here. The Colts, San Francisco's the only primetime game, I think, the rest of the way.
Monday night, right, for that one?
That Monday nighter. But if you get a few more of those, if you remember, this is now probably his, second season in the league. He had that great run against New England on a Saturday night inside of Lucas Oil Stadium. That was kind of an iconic Taylor moment. Selfishly, I think to garner the attention of award people, you have to have those because – we've talked about this with the MVP award. There's 50 votes, and no one in our market has a vote, which, I don't need to get on like a media soapbox, but there's no reason why Mike Chappell should not have a vote for MVP. Every NFL market should have a vote, and then you can sprinkle in whatever, national people or former players, however you want to do, the other 18 votes there. So, unfortunately, you're going to have to get some eyes that don't usually watch you. And, Colts Chiefs is Sunday at 1 o'clock.
That's a perfect one,
so,
yeah.
I mean, you just aren't going to get a lot of these great primetime slots here unless games get flexed.
Yeah, and I think there's another opportunity, probably the game against the San Francisco 49ers is going to be a great opportunity for the Colts and him to kind of show the country what's going on too.
Yeah, I mean that's the one that we talk about. That's the lone Monday nighter, lone even Sunday nighter.
Yeah. All right, so a lot to talk about with the Colts still. They are on a bye this week. We are going to get to all of your comments and texts. They are coming in heavy, and they're coming in on a lot of different subjects, some of the things we've been talking about this morning. We'll do that coming up in a minute. Busy day for guests today, Mark, including Coach Thad Matta of the Butler Bulldogs coming up at 8:30 today, but we got more after that, don't we? All day.
Scott Agnes at 9 to talk Pacers and Caitlin Clark down in Florida, hitting the sticks out there, and then Jason Hammer's going to barge on in here with hopefully some Thursday night winners. So I'm in the hallway. I'm like, you got winners for us today? He didn't last week. He's like, I got them. I'm like, okay.
All right.
Bring it. We need some winners.
All right. Coming up in a minute, we'll get to all of that. We'll take some of your calls and comments as well on the text line, 239-1070, or old-fashioned way, right on the phone. You can talk to us yourself, 239-1070. It's all coming up on a Thursday morning, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us. If you're just turning the radio on, we've got Kevin Bowen back after some daddy duty of the last week or so. Wife Maddie have welcomed in their third child. We're excited for that. James Boyd has been back for a couple of days from Berlin. And I got Mark now looking at the night sky all the time. You're becoming quite the astronomer these days.
Hey, Aurora Borealis. You don't see that very often in Indy. So when you get a chance to peep at some sky, I'm going to do it.
All right. It's a lot of fun there. And Kevin, a lot of people checking in with you. They're very excited and happy for you, sending a lot of congratulations on the fan text line at 317-239-1070. And you were talking about all the sports you got to watch while you were waiting for the youngest in your family to arrive. And right after she arrived, and you were like, hey, nobody told you that you could sit around the hospital room and just watch games all the time, right? On the other end of that, there are people saying Anthony says he can vouch for the Summer Olympics baby as well. That's probably not a bad time. But then on the other
hard
end,
to pick that out, though.
Boy, you got to have some really select swimmers if you're gonna, in more ways than one, if you're gonna get that going.
like that. And Mark, did you end the show during March Madness or anything like that? Did you choose a good time to just sit down, recover, and watch?
I did it I don't think I did it. I didn't do it in the typical time to do it when they promoted to do it. I did it I think in January. So it was during the playoffs of the NFL season. So
okay.
I
That's
still
not a
worked
bad
out.
time either.
Still worked.
There are a lot of men's clinics where you can go shut the show down during March Madness and just do nothing. You got an excuse to watch basketball for 4 days.
Can I endorse that in the spring?
I figured you would.
We're getting close. I don't know. That's up to you and Maddie. I wasn't going to put you in that position, but it sounds to me like you're already thinking that way.
You're in and out, Kevin.
What was that show called, Mark, where we went over the scissors a couple weeks ago?
Oh, that was the Andy Dick show.
Yeah, the Andy Dick show. You've been snipped.
Uh-huh.
James is recoiling in
That could be
terror
in the
over
Northern
here.
Lights horizon for me. Is that what you're saying over
yeah.
there?
I'm Kevin Bowen. You ever need to get snipped? I'm your man.
Nah, I won't do the snipping. Just I endorse being snipped.
It's nice and easy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Maybe
oh,
the
man,
Masters.
oh,
That
man.
could work out.
Boy.
Going to the text line right now, people all kinds are interested in the Colts, obviously. Gabe wanted to know, guys, if he likes Abdullah as a backup, when do the Colts start thinking about dialing it back just a bit for Taylor, maybe 4 or 5 less touches? He needs to stay healthy. Just think if he had to miss a game or two. You worried
Amir
about that?
Abdullah
at all?
deserves a game ball for Sunday.
Man, he played well.
Those kick returns were huge. Huge.
He's had a couple this year like that. Didn't he have a really big one against the Chargers?
I was
going to
say, there's definitely been another one. Yeah, I think that's right, James. Tyler Goodson, I think, even got an offensive snap, a couple of them, I believe, on Sunday. So, we'll see if that's anything. The Colts really have not been inclined to do any of that. I want to say the 32 carries for Taylor was a career high. Granted, that overtime, he carried it, I think, 6 times in OT. But even if you look at, 26 in regulation, that is a huge number. Today's NFL, dudes are not carrying the football 26 times. Hell, it's rare if dudes are carrying it 20 times.
Right.
On a given Sunday. So, workload for Taylor they have not messed around. They are feeding him like none other. So, just something certainly to keep an eye on.
Here's an anonymous texter, hasn't said what his name is, but he says, could you guys quickly go over who we want to win or lose this week since we're on a bye, assuming we want Kansas City to win? It starts tonight, guys. James, Jets and Patriots. If the Jets could somehow go into Foxborough and upset the Patriots, that doesn't hurt things because the Colts are tied with the Patriots right now at 8-2. That would be a good start to the week.
I wonder if we'll see A.D. Mitchell tonight. He did not make his Jets debut last week. Wasn't even active, actually. So could he help knock off
I think you do, right?
Patriots?
Garrett Wilson's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and in all seriousness, talking to their head coach, Aaron Glenn, he mentioned that he just wanted AD to kind of get the system down better before throwing him in there. But, yeah, without Garrett Wilson, it stands to reason that AD Mitchell might actually be the best receiver on their roster as far as talent goes. And, what does that mean for his opportunities tonight? We'll see. But as I pointed out, and many others, the Jets have one of the worst passing offenses in the league, so I wouldn't, hold my breath on it.
Who do you want to win?
The damn Jets.
Yeah, you want
That'd
the
be
Jets.
nice.
You do want the Broncos to lose to the Chiefs, as the
Now,
listener pointed out. Those are the teams right now. Patriots, and are those the only 2 lost teams now that Buffalo lost last week in the AFC? Is that right?
I believe so.
Yeah, Colts, Patriots, Broncos.
So you want the Broncos and the Patriots to lose.
I'm going to throw a different one at you. From a Colts perspective, I kind of want the Broncos to win that football game. I don't think they're that good. I don't think that they're going to be a team that I mean, their defense is terrific. Their offense, I don't know about. But if they could get the Chiefs to 5-5 as well as a bunch of the other teams in the AFC are playing right now and just get rid of the Chiefs and put them on the precipice of being eliminated from the postseason, that would not bother me at all.
Well,
don't you want them
I think
to lose,
the bye
though?
is most important.
I was going to say, but don't you want the Chiefs to lose only because otherwise they're going to really – we have to dial it up to 11 against the Colts now if we lose against the Broncos. I feel like that would be –
I just want to get rid of them.
Well –
Yeah, I can hear you out, Jeff, on that. I just think with how the NFL has expanded the playoffs a few years back and you just have the one singular bye, I think it matters even more. So, Kansas City might make the playoffs, but, if they're the 6th seed or the 5 seed, maybe you don't even see them for at least a chunk of the postseason there. I just think that one bye can be so advantageous to you. Obviously, you get home field with it there. I would choose to go that path. And Patrick Mahomes has never beat the Colts, right?
Right. Yeah, one or two of the texters have pointed that out as well. But I don't know. If the Chiefs lose to the Broncos, they're chasing hard against teams like the Bills, the Broncos,
yeah, but
and
who's going to
the
be that
Chargers.
last wild card team if it's not Kansas City? I mean, is Jacksonville really going to hang in there?
I think Baltimore, well, I don't know if anybody from that division is going to win a wild
I think
card,
the Steelers
so, yeah.
are dropping off. The Ravens will replace them. Yeah, there's no way the Jaguars are.
No, the Jags are not staying
Jags
in
aren't
there.
hanging in there.
No.
Chiefs will jump.
I
Ravens
think the
will
AFC
jump.
West gets 3 teams.
I just think Kansas City's the most dangerous team in the NFL on any given Sunday, and if you can get rid of them and not allow them to even get in the tournament, that's a win.
Man, bump that. Bring them into Indianapolis. Knock them off at home.
I'd take that too. I'm just saying, there are some.
We ain't running from nothing. Bring them to town. They ain't the same old Chiefs. We ain't worried about that.
They look pretty good with Rashee Rice back.
They look pretty good. He's been back. Didn't they just lose their last game? Was that against the Bills? This Chiefs team ain't all that.
Okay. We got some other stuff going on here. Here's one. Another one. Eddie says, or no, that was not Eddie. Anonymous says, I'm with Jeff Berry, the Chiefs. A lot of people just talking about, Anthony wants to fire up Jeff's catch counter. Yeah, I need A.D. Mitchell to get like 28 targets tonight.
I looked up A.D.
Boy, that would
Mitchell
help.
player props last night. I am betting on A.D. Mitchell overs tonight.
Was it 2.5, 3.5?
If they exist.
I'm surprised those. I was
I was
those
gonna
even
say.
on the board.
Last night, none of them did, which Jason Hammer can hopefully clear us up on coming up at 9:30. Again, no Garrett Wilson for the Jets, but to James's point, I think Justin Fields had 6 completions last week in the entire game.
He threw it like 12 times, which is
That's
just
what I'm
insane.
saying.
I mean, the Jets
Just
are freaking
insane.
Army, Navy.
They're like, they're not like Miles McLaughlin and Knox because all they do is run, but they have success
Yes,
doing it.
right, exactly.
The Jets, not so much.
I like
all
how-
I see from them is Aaron Glenn arguing with the media.
Dude, seriously. But they're a 13-point underdog, and the Colts need them to win tonight.
I'm looking online or on one
It's
of the
taking a while to
things.
scroll.
It says all alternate receiving yards. All players. Well, all players ain't listed because A.D. Mitchell ain't there.
I didn't see a single Jets wideout listed, which I thought was kind of a funny insult to the Jets.
Well, have you seen Justin Fields this year? Hadn't been pretty. Can you imagine, though, if the Jets out of nowhere, and we see this sometimes in the NFL, after trading away their best defensive lineman, after trading away their best defensive back, and now going on the road to take on a guy who's the front runner for the MVP, can you imagine if the Jets somehow came and won like a 9-6 game tonight or something like that?
Sign me up. By the way, am I allowed to be mad at the Pacers, or do we just continue to give them excuses?
No, we're getting close to the
We were all
Enya
mad at
music.
152 the other night.
We're close to the Enya music with them.
So tonight they'll get the Suns off of back-to-back. So if you look at this West Coast trip so far, this is game 4. They will have had 3 of the 4 opponents off of back-to-back. The one team they didn't play on the back-to-back was the Stephless Warriors. And yet they really have been, I know the Warriors game, it was close for a little bit there, but really they've been run out of the gym in the other 2 games. We'll see how tonight goes. Phoenix won in Dallas last night.
They've
here.
won 4 straight, too.
But, it's just, I get that Matherin is Matherin the last one? Obi's not coming back for a few months. So if you look at their current iteration, whenever Matherin does get back, this is pretty much the group you thought would be there for this season. Minus Obi. Obviously Miles and Tyrese, you knew weren't going to be a part of it. I think it's time that, some of these excuses can get swept under the rug. a little bit here of like, all right, now it's time to actually win basketball games. Hell, be competitive, I guess would be the first place to start with how the Jazz treated them the other night. The Jazz, I believe the Pacers were favored in that game, and the Jazz beat the brakes off them. So, yeah, I'm a little, I'm starting to get on the edge of my seat here.
Benedict is still
With the
out
Pacers.
for tonight, by the way, according to the latest injury report. So,
And again,
No
he's
Benedict.
really, now that McConnell's back, obviously Nemhard now has played a couple games. You now are kind of starting to creep towards the group you thought at the start of the season, minus Obi. We know
Right.
Obi's not going to be back for a few months here. So whenever Matherin does get back, then that is your group here. So, yeah, I know Phoenix is not, some pushover by any means, but I think it's time, and maybe it's the Raptors on Saturday, and once they get back home a little bit here. But, yeah, I think it's time that we can start to properly evaluate a little bit more wins and losses with them.
Well, you take a look, and again, you could extend them grace for a lot of those games at the beginning of the year because just look at the starting lineup for a lot of those games. You're playing guys that will probably finish the year with Noblesville, right?
Sure. Yeah, and I can totally acknowledge that, but I think we're starting to transition away from that. So now it is, all right, this is now a little bit of a closer NBA team, and to your point, Jeff, not a Noblesville boom team.
And the other thing that I think we forget sometimes in the NBA, and we see it all the time, like they're in the National Basketball Association, it's important to have cohesion and guys playing together and being on the same page. And it's defensively knowing how to help that guy out and doing what this guy does. As many different lineups and starting lineups and in-game lineups as Rick Carlisle has had to put together this year, I'm just not so sure that teams even like Utah have not taken advantage of the fact that those guys at the Pacers, they're just not used to, some of them aren't even used to playing in the NBA, much less playing together as a unit. And I think that's come up to bite them a couple of times.
And individually, you need more from Jarris Walker.
Yeah.
1,000%.
I thought he really struggled the other night, and
I was watching that Golden State game, and he looked like Nellie's diaper. I mean, it was bad.
oh, yeah.
And I'm
bad.
talking the blowout version.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
So,
You should see the amount of colors in it.
how does he find a rhythm? How does he find a role? I mean, I'm not making excuses for him.
Do you think he got benched the other night when they started Jeremiah Robinson Earl? Do you think that because we've seen Rick do this at times? He wants to keep the bench really together. Like a few times he hasn't started McConnell in recent years when it's like, wait, don't you start TJ McConnell? So Jarris Walker was a starter and then got benched for Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Yeah, I actually do think he got benched.
Yeah.
Because the
I do
guy
as
he
well,
was
yeah.
replaced with isn't a part of your long-term plans at all. In the past, you could say, oh, well, Jarrett's coming off the bench because you have a solidified core in your starting five. These are the guys you're going to stick with. And, at some point you're going to need them. But Jeremiah Robinson Earl, no disrespect to him, is not a part of the Pacers' long-term rebuild plans post-Halliburton Achilles. So it's been rough for him as of late. I'm kind of disappointed that he hasn't really taken another step forward in his individual game. And I would say, as far as the overall team goes, I was on this train early. I'm still here. Remember a couple of these names, people. Darren Peterson, AJ DeBanza, Cameron Boozer. These are some of the top prospects for next year's NBA draft. This is where the Pacers are going to end up unless they turn a corner here very, very quickly because, what are they, 1-10? It's hard to come back from that. They're not going to be above 500 for the rest of the year. You can forget that. So what is an actual realistic season outcome for them?
Here comes the lottery.
What was your Pacers bet, Kevin?
To be one of the 8 seeds, I think.
How you feeling about that bet right now?
I don't feel great, obviously. Yeah. And again, I don't want to act like, yes, I think the lack of available bodies or the bodies that they have thrown out there is certainly at play for the what is it now? Is it 1-10? 1-9, whatever the record is.
1-10.
1-10.
1-10. Now I think we're starting to transition away from like, all right, the injury report is, insanely long, and that's the reason why they've started the way they have. I think the evaluation becomes a little bit more like fair, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. Right now, if you look at what they've got going on, and it just like I would imagine their starting unit tonight is Andrew Nemhart, Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and then past that, I don't know what you do. Bradley, Jackson. Who else are you going to be starting? You gonna go with Robinson Earl again?
I think it was Pat Boylan said that like right now the Pacers are at the equivalent of a Week 3 NFL game. like from an NBA season. Like when you put in those terms, it doesn't sound like the nail's in the coffin. But I don't know. The hammer's close by, I guess, if I can continue that.
Where are you at on Isaiah Jackson so far this year?
Now, I mean, he got benched, I guess, the other night. Now, maybe that was a matchup thing. Maybe it was Nurkic and you wanted Tony Bradley in there. So, yeah, it's been up and down for him, which, coming off the Achilles, all of that. So, the time is now. The Pacers need to start turning things around, and we'll see. I assume Benedict Matherin's return is not that far away, but he's still listed as out. Typically we see like your lease listed as questionable before you make your return. He is out for tonight, 9 o'clock there in Phoenix. Not a big underdog, 4.5 points, so Vegas has some faith in him.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird schedule when they get back from Phoenix. They're at Phoenix tonight. Saturday they're at home against Toronto. Then Monday they're on the road at Detroit. Then they come back home for a Wednesday game against Charlotte. Then they're back out on the road again against Cleveland. So it's kind of a weird in-out portion of the schedule for the Pacers. Maybe they get something done against Phoenix tonight. We'll find out. All right, let's check it down, Mark Dykton, see what's going on.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Yep, the Pacers will play tonight against the Phoenix Suns. That one will tip off at 9 p.m. The pregame starts at 8:30 right here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. We'll have Pat Boyle and, of course, the play-by-play with Mark Boyle to listen to throughout your late-night evening. If you're not otherwise engaged with a Thursday night game, the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your excitement meter for that one, James Boyd?
0. I never want to watch the Jets, but I will because I told you all I'm a liar. I'm going to sit here on the radio and say, I won't watch this game. I got plenty of stuff to do. It will be on in the background as I do something else, but it will be on.
You're going to go Purdue-Bama first, though.
I
Absolutely.
think so.
The little screen will be probably the prime football game.
Oh, look at this. James Boyd checking in to watch Purdue and Alabama.
Somebody monitoring
Very
this
good,
from Moscow.
Mr. Boyd. Yeah. Enjoy the Russian server.
Comes through very clear, I must say. HD is great.
We're talking about number 2 Purdue against number 8 Alabama. The Boilermakers on the road tonight. Great news for them in the recruiting portal, though, Kevin Bowen. They've snagged 7'1" center Sainan Huan from China, a 4-star prospect that had played on the Chinese junior national team. And that's part of now what is rated as a top 15 class that includes, of course, Luke Ertl from Mount Vernon, wing player Jacob Weber, and power forward Rivers Knight. It looks like Matt Painter's starting to stock the cupboard again as he gets ready to make another run at a national championship this year.
Can't wait for tonight. They are an underdog down there at Alabama. Again, this has been a home and home the last 2 years. They played in Toronto a few years back. Braden Philon, a really good guard for the Crimson Tide. He actually played very well at Mackey last season there, and that was a fun game. Back and forth. C.J. Cox got on a flurry there in one of his early games in his college career, and Trey Kaufman-Renn, that was kind of still early in his coming out party. So it's clear Purdue definitely needs their All-American forward for an atmosphere like tonight. They are a 3.5-point underdog. I believe I saw some different unis, too, some black script unis here for the Boilers tonight. So looking forward to seeing that.
And again, emphasizing TKR should be available for that game tonight. That's all reports so far. So we'll see what Trey Kaufman-Renn does for Purdue.
Reports from
Alabama.
Matt Painter and Trey Kaufman-Renn, to be clear.
Yeah. Also, last night, college basketball, IU lighting it up again. They played at home against Milwaukee, beat them 101-70. Lamar Wilkerson led the team with 24 points. Tatum Conaway had 21. 14 of 28, JB, from three-point range. They are getting it up and down the floor. They are knocking down the shots.
Yeah, I turned it on, and I saw Tucker DeVries shoot one with a hand in his face from the top of the key and just straight down the well. I'm like, wow, I haven't seen that for a lot of IU teams. But on top of that, I think the shot quality they're getting is really good. A lot of open looks for those guys. And granted, you're facing Milwaukee, which isn't a great opponent. But I like the process so far for this team.
By the way, Butler will be playing on Saturday at SMU, and about 10 minutes from now, we'll talk to Thad Matta, head coach for the Bulldogs, about how things have gone in the early part of the season and what he's looking for this weekend as college basketball starts to slide into center stage around here. Meanwhile, the NBA last night, a couple of notable games. The Nuggets beat the Clippers 130-116. JB, Nikola Jokic, 55 points last night. He just continues to amaze, and he always makes it look so, in one way, effortless, and then when he goes back down the floor on defense, it looks like he's laboring all the time. How's that work?
Yeah, he's one of the greatest players of all time. He can retire right now and be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's how great he is. And I go back and forth between who's the best player in the world, him or Giannis, or is Wemby on his way? A lot of talent in this new era of basketball we're in.
Speaking of talent, last night there was a great matchup between the Warriors and the Spurs in San Antonio. Warriors got it 125-120 despite the fact that Wemby scored 31 points, pulled in 15 rebounds, handed out 10 assists. But the Warriors have a couple of guys themselves. One guy named Steph Curry, and Kevin, he scored 46 last night.
He's no Hannah Hidalgo.
No, he's not. Well, he did score 46. But
I don't see 16 steals for Steph.
No. Kevin, referencing Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame, the women's Fighting Irish team beat Akron 85-58 last night. 44 points. 16 steals to set a new NCAA record. I don't care who you're doing that against. That's insane, James Boyd.
It is. It is. In Akron, we got to knock you down a peg. We got to get you out of the NCAA Division I. Level. No, I'm joking. But I do think Hannah is amazing. I got a chance to see her in person, actually, I want to say a couple years ago, and she is a very special player. Even though she's undersized, I think, for the sport, she makes up for it with an extremely high motor, great defensive player. She will, as you noted, rip you up, and she can score with the best of them.
Yeah, she is just, I think, 5'6", and she is quick, and she's a pest on defense.
National Player of the Year, KB?
And
I think so.
Yeah, she's on her way.
That's a Notre Dame team that has little depth. They run her into the ground with how many minutes they usually play her.
So that's what's happening as far as basketball is concerned. Anything else you guys want to throw in? I saw Caitlin Clark playing in a Pro-Am at Annika Sorenstam's Pro-Am down in Florida yesterday. I did see one quick highlight. She kind of mishit a shot when the camera was on her. She immediately turned around. She goes, "Great, that's the one shot you're going to be taking a picture of." She played pretty well, though. She was doing all right. Did you see who her caddies were?
Scott Agnes going to join us, right? Coming up at 9 to talk more about it. Shout out to the great Monon Bell. Weather should be awesome this weekend. Crawfordsville for that. 131st meeting between DePaul and Wabash. I know that game means a ton to a lot of people here in our state. Seemingly every year, these teams are having great records, both 8-1 on the year. I believe the winner gets a playoff spot here. And shout out to DePaul's Robbie Ballantyne, one of the best players in D3, and sounds like an unbelievable off the field as well. He is up for the Campbell Award, which is basically the academic Heisman there. Only D3 student athlete up for that. So should be an awesome one. And again, we've had some chilly weather in years past. Should be a great day there for a little bell action.
JB.
Robbie Ballantyne. Shout out to Andran. I covered him when he was in high school.
And speaking of high school stuff, getting down to brass tacks now in high school football. It's best of the best playing at this point on, man. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, this is always one of my favorite times of the year as a high school sports reporter. A lot of miles in the car driving around Indiana, but this is where, kids become legends or they go home crying. And so it's all part of the journey, and I think the stakes always remind me of how big these moments is in the teenagers' lives.
All right, coming up in a moment, we are going to talk to the head coach for the Butler Bulldogs. Thad Matta stops by, and we might even have a giveaway for you when it comes to Butler basketball. Stay tuned, and I'll tell you more next. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
A good Thursday morning as the Colts take a break this week. And Indiana, like in the past, could you imagine being a heavy favorite against Wisconsin, even like 5 years ago? How crazy would that be in football?
Boy, and heavy doesn't even begin to describe it. I don't know if there's two programs that have done a 180 in positive direction in Bloomington and negative direction in Madison. So, did I see they won last week and their punter was their leading passer?
They're having a moment. They're having a moment there.
But Luke Fickell's back, right? Their AD endorsed him.
That's what they said.
Come on back there. So, yeah, huge 30-point favorite, Indiana. And then we got the Ryan Walters Bowl, right, for Purdue?
I forgot about that. Ryan Walters was I think he was the DC at Illinois when I was covering them for a little bit.
Now the DC at Washington. So
Yep.
Purdue heading out there to take on the Huskies.
I think, for where they're at, I think Purdue's done. They got a lot of work to do, obviously, but they've done okay this year. It hasn't been as bad as last year, certainly. And there's a brutal schedule these last couple of weeks.
That's quite the low bar to all of a sudden
But it is
say
a
that
low
they're
bar.
higher
But,
than-
at some point, you got to start somewhere, start rebuilding. And I think they've taken a step forward this year, it feels like.
I'd say they've maybe crawled. I don't know if I can give them a full step here.
Oh, man, harsh. I'm trying to make Todd Meyer happy this morning, and you're not helping.
I think Todd Meyer would just want the wins.
But we are in the midst of talking about college football, obviously, and hoping that Indiana just stays the course, takes care of business, and get themselves to a bye in the NCAA college football playoff that'll be coming up. They got, of course, looks like a Big Ten championship game between them and Ohio State, which will be a battle of the Titans. But also college basketball is front and center. We've talked about what Indiana and Purdue have going on this week, but also Butler off to a nice start right now at 3-0, and we are joined now on the Payless Liquors hotline by the head coach for the Butler Bulldogs. That would be Thad Matta. Coach, how you doing this morning?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right, man. We are in it for college basketball season. Does it feel like right smack the middle of the season for you?
It really does. And the hard part of it, you really don't get an off season anymore. But no, we're in it. And we yesterday we'd had a stretch where we'd gone 10 days just because of the schedule. So the guys needed a break, and we'll get back at it here this morning. But yeah, we are hot and heavy. There's no doubt about that.
Coach, you transition here a little bit at SMU coming up on Saturday. You guys go to the Greenbrier for a couple of other Power 4 games coming up next week. How do you kind of go about the non-conference schedule when it comes to, where do you put, the non-con games in terms of a, power standpoint, trying to build a resume for March? How do you kind of view the non-conference schedule?
Well, scheduling is one of the hardest parts of college basketball, to be honest with you. I mean, we knew, like in the SMU deal, them being an ACC school, we were trying to do a home and home. We needed somebody that would start at Hinkle last year, which they did. So this is a return game there. In terms of the event and at the Greenbrier, that's a multi-team event, I think is what it's called. And you're playing two quality opponents on a neutral court, which works itself out well. The other team in there is we play South Carolina, Virginia, and Northwestern is also in the tournament, and we won't play them. We play them downtown in December, I believe. So that's why we already know our two opponents down there.
And then you guys, it was announced a few weeks back, but you guys have agreed to a home and home with North Carolina. So I think it's to Chapel Hill, if I'm not mistaken, next December, and then they'll come to Hinkle in 2027. How did that one come about?
That one, it's funny because Grant Leindecker, athletic director, kind of facilitated that one just because of his ties to North Carolina. And, he was down there for I don't know how many years, but he sort of got with their AD and got that one done. So that'll be a great game for us next year.
Dad, obviously your team off to a pretty impressive start. How do you assess progress when you're playing competition that may not be on the same level as you, but you look at the results and you're trying to, I guess, glean little things from it versus just the outcome of the score?
Yeah, it's funny because I've been very pleased with how we've handled our business in the first 3 games. And we've been able to do a lot of teaching from those because, playing the 2 exhibition games against Notre Dame and Indiana State, I thought we grew, and I've seen growth and development with our guys. My biggest thing is I don't want to see guys make the same mistake twice in a game. And we've had a little bit of that, and trying to get that cleaned up, and knowing your offense, your defense is always going to be a work in progress. And you look at the last 2 games that we played, just with how IUND and Chicago State played, we really haven't had to execute offense. It's been more of making basketball plays. And so I think, Saturday we'll get back to having, just a little bit more where we got to call sets, we got to execute them, and which hopefully we're ready for that.
Thad Matta, head basketball coach at Butler, and it's brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, in business since the year before Hinkle Fieldhouse opened in 1927. Lazy Boy, Indiana-made Smith Brothers Furniture, Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic Mattresses. Free delivery to entire Indianapolis metro area. It's worth the drive to Columbus, too. ThompsonFurniture.net. And having said that, Coach, you got a busy week and a half coming up. You talked about SMU Saturday night, then you're home against South Carolina. A lot of good stuff coming up, and then you play Virginia as well. Talk to me about this stretch coming up.
Well, it's going to be challenging. There's no question about that. I mean, SMU is extremely talented. They're their little point guard, maybe one of the best in the country. He's averaging 21 points, 7 assists in 3 games right now, and we had some trouble with them last year. But they're an extremely talented team. There's no doubt. And I think it'll be good for us to get on the road and sort of see what we're made of down there, and come home. We've got a few days to prepare, and then South Carolina and, like I said, Virginia over the course of next weekend. So yeah, it's on. There's no doubt about that, and I think our guys are excited to go on the road. I think we're in a good place right now. We just go down and play well.
Coach, I want to go back to something you said a few minutes ago, and I think you touched on this after the Chicago State game of calling no sets almost from the sideline. We have Rick Carlisle on every Tuesday, and he obviously has shared about their offensive sort of approach, and I get that Tyrese Halliburton helps the situation, but just kind of the whole freedom of flowing and just kind of play the game and maybe not call as many as stationary sets looking over the sidelines. Typically for you, over the course of a 40-minute game, are you a coach that likes to call a lot of sets, and kind of how does that evolve depending on what your point guard situation is?
Yeah, a lot of it is we want to go on missed field goals when we got our opportunity, of turnovers or missed field goals. We'll get into our flow offense through transition, and at that point we're playing. I mean, and we've worked a lot on that of knowing, putting guys in position to have their strengths or weaknesses. Dead balls, maybe a made field goal, we may call something that we've seen that we think could be advantageous for us to score. But a lot of it now is you want your guys playing freely, also with a lot of discipline, knowing what they can do and what they can't do.
One more from me, Coach, and I was looking at Finley Bizjack's bio. He's got a lot of 3-on-3 background. How much do you work on those types of looks in practice? I know it's a 5-on-5 game, but how much do you think 3-on-3, 2-on-2, those types of drills can help you make quicker decisions when you're in the half court?
That's a great question. I know this. We go part whole a lot, but you've got to have the reps with the 5 guys out there, just for spacing and those types of things. I think the 3-on-3 that Finley did for USA Basketball has really helped him because it's I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it's such a fast-paced game. I think it's a 12-second shot clock, and I think that's helped Finley tremendously in his decision-making and, seeing things quicker because of the pace they have to play at. He's played it all over the world, that's for sure.
Coach, always good to talk to you. Nice start so far. Keep it rolling. Your team heads out on the road. Some big games coming up. We're looking forward to hearing them and watching them. Thanks.
All right, guys. Thank you.
You bet. Thad Matta, coach for the Butler Bulldogs, joining us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. And they're off to a nice start. Been very efficient scoring the basketball so far, which has been fun to see.
Yeah, James, brings up Finley Bizjack. Exhibition games, he was the guy, and so far they haven't needed him to be, kind of that, a little bit more balanced It was good to see Jamie Kaiser shoot the basketball well the other night. I think he's really key for them. And Michael Jai, I know we've talked about, just a world of a talent. And I think for Butler to be a team, around that bracket come up in March, I think he's got to play at an all Big East level. So these are the resume games, away from home, these next 3, SMU, neutral floor, there at the Greenbrier as well. So critical for Butler to get, at least 1, if not 2 of these to try and build that resume.
Coach Mata brought to you every week by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. They've got Lazy Boy, Indiana-made Smith Brothers Furniture, Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, free delivery to the entire Indianapolis metro area, but it's also worth the drive down to Columbus as well. Check them out at thompsonfurniture.net. They've been in business since before Hinkle Fieldhouse opened back in 1927. There's a reason for that. Check them out. All right, coming up in just a moment, we'll talk more about Colts Pacers as the Pacers trying to get back in the winning ledger tonight. We'll do that, and then we'll talk to Scott Agnes about that coming up top of the hour as well. Get some of your phone calls and texts on the way, 239-1070 here on a Thursday morning.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning, everyone. And one of the things that's interesting to me about the text line, nobody in Indianapolis seems scared of the Chiefs at all. They bring up the fact all the time that Patrick Mahomes has never beaten the Colts. Tyler from Washington pointing out at 239-1070 on the fan text line that why is it that when talking about the Chiefs game, nobody has mentioned the masterclass Anarumo has put on against Mahomes. I'd argue our roster is better than those Bengals teams, even without Buckner, too. That's a statement right there, Tyler. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, obviously lose history against Mahomes. I need to go back and look at those games a little closer, James. I don't know if you have, but if I remember correctly, I think the big part of those games were sacks. I want to say they sacked Mahomes in those 2 playoff games. I think it was like 7 or 8 times. Mahomes' individual numbers weren't that poor in those games. It's not like he had, 50% and, a bunch of picks. But I think that was the big part of it there. And I think Mahomes has had a lot of public praise for him. So we probably should clarify when we say Patrick Mahomes has never beat the Colts. It's 2 regular season games. So I don't want to, make more of it.
Is it a sweep?
That's a sweep in my book, Kevin.
That is a Mark Dykton sweep. So 2019, Jacoby Brissett, Sunday Night Football, and nothing says the 2022 Colts season like Matt Ryan and Frank Reich and company beating the Chiefs inside of Lucas Oil Stadium.
And they finished 4-12-1. What a weird season. What a weird rise.
All I remember about that game was I remember Kelsey dropped one. It was one of those roof open games, like early in the season. I remember Kelsey dropping a touchdown, and I remember Mahomes was pissed at Andy Reid running off, or maybe it was Bieniemy. Maybe it was one of those where he was really mad running off the field at halftime. They had some weird, field goal decision, those sorts of moves. But
yeah. I also remember Matt Ryan being sacked by Chris Jones. Or
was there a big penalty? It was a big penalty?
Yeah, and to this day, we don't know exactly what Chris Jones said, although I have an inkling.
We have Matt Ryan.
Blue skies and sunshine back then. Nothing but upside.
He looks good on TV now, though.
He does. He's good.
Yeah. Also, the great line. Kevin, you acknowledged this on the fan text line, too. Corbin said that's one small step for man, one giant leap for Purdue basketball. After coming up with their latest signing recruit, Sinan Juan. From,
Open mic
China,
night, I guess,
right
on the text line.
The text line.
I was gonna say you have the
text line's pretty good.
Yeah, hold on, I'll find it.
Text line's pretty
good.
Say
that again, Jeff. There. Go ahead, say that line again.
Corbin says that's one small step for man, one giant leap for Purdue basketball.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sure. Tip your waitresses.
I was gonna say, do you have the sound of somebody throwing a tomato at that person?
Sure, Neil Armstrong is really, really loving that one.
Oh man, it's going to be interesting to see. A pretty active trade deadline for the National Football League last week, and of course the Colts coming up big with Sauce Gardner. When we haven't had a chance to talk to you a lot about this, Kevin. After the Atlanta game, you were here right before, I think right when they signed Sauce Gardner. But getting him and Mooney Ward back and having Bynum back there and Kenny Moore, that's a pretty formidable secondary all of a sudden. How much does that help the pass rush, even though Buckner's out?
Oh, I think it's huge. Yeah, I mean, I think it's vital. And honestly, I feel like you felt that at times Sunday, in Berlin. Zaire Franklin had that huge sack in overtime off of a blitz, of course. And, I think Lou Anarumo will continue to feel more comfortable, especially when Mooney gets back, with deploying more to your pass rush, which is going to be needed. I was talking with a coach recently who was playing the Colts, and I was like, hey, what are your general thoughts about the Colts? He's like, 99 makes it all work. I mean, it just the universal praise for DeForest Buckner, I think is known, but just in case it's not known, he is the engine to your pass rush, and you would probably call your pass rush, I don't know if you call it a weakness, but let's call it middle of the pack. Without him, you're running on fumes. If you don't deploy blitzing and things like that. Look at the Cam Bynum play.
Perfect example, yep.
I mean, again, that is one where, you are taking your free safety. That's not Nick Cross, who plays a little bit more to the line of scrimmage. You are taking your free safety, walking him all the way up to the line of scrimmage and blitzing him. And I think a part of why you do that is, and again, that's with only Sauce Gardner, playing corner, I did find it odd, James. I don't know if you did. I didn't get why Mekhi Blackmon outsnapped Jalen Jones to the level that he did. The Jalen Jones situation is just odd. I thought Jalen Jones earned the right to continue to be the starting opposite corner until Javarius Ward comes back, but that was not the case in Berlin there. But yes, I think the trade for Gardner, more and more blitzing, more and more pressure via that route has got to be the way to go because the DeForest Buckner double teams are gone.
It's interesting that the 3 sacks that they had against Atlanta were a linebacker, Zaire Franklin, Nick Cross, and Cam Bynum. Those are the guys with the sacks.
Yeah, and it kind of speaks to just how much of a variety Lou Anarumo can throw at you when he's in his bag. And I think you certainly have to get a little more creative when you don't have those guys, getting to the quarterback up front. And I think the number one guy I'm looking at is Laiatu Latu. He had a pretty good game, I think, against the Steelers. Might have had 2 sacks, I think, against them, 2.5 or something like that. A bit quieter when it comes to his performance out in Berlin against the Falcons. And you need somebody to be a dude. And that's what you're lacking, I think, with the defensive line, where you don't have DeForest Buckner out there. As far as a pass rusher goes, I think a dude is Grover Stewart as well, but he's not going to get off the quarterback like the other guys would. And so without that, you need Laiatu to kind of live up to the hype a little bit. And I wonder, with the bye week, a chance to probably implement some different things, can you get more out of him because you trust your back end more? Because I thought Sauce was actually really good. I know the 2-point conversion stands out, but coverage-wise, the dude was a lot better than they've had all year.
If you want to underscore that point, too, tackles for loss in addition to those 3 sacks, Mekhi Blackmon had the only other tackle for loss. So everything that happened behind the line of scrimmage all comes from you're either linebacker or your secondary.
Yeah, they just don't have a very productive defensive line, especially without Buckner. I think that's probably the easiest way to put it. I think it's, I did a little awards thing for our site, and each year I, hand out the obvious midseason awards, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Breakout Player of the Year. Shout out to Tanner Bortolini for winning Breakout Player of the Year in my mind. I don't know if an offensive lineman can break out, but I think Tanner Bortolini deserves it. But I also throw in there, okay, what's been the biggest disappointment? To me, given the investment, it is that pass rush. It is the D-line because there's so much draft pick money into that group. But again, you make this trade. I don't – it'd be interesting, James, to know how much they knew the severity of the Buckner injury when they made the trade. They made the trade, what, Tuesday at 1 o'clock? Something like that. I don't know, Steichen was being very coy per usual when it comes to revealing information there. Said kind of after if you watch the Pittsburgh game back, Buckner clearly, he goes in the blue 10 at some point there. He does return and plays the rest of the game. But, by Tuesday at 1 o'clock, did you know how severe the Buckner injury was? That'd be kind of an
Monday you were saying there were no injuries come out of that game.
Right,
and so
exactly.
Things changed kind of quickly. And honestly, hearing from him most recently on Buckner, it's weird, the response that he's given about him, because it's all hedged. You can't really glean an answer from it. Like the latest thing he said on DeForest Buckner, this was a couple of days ago, and also actually in Berlin. I want to say it was that Monday after the game. He came in and they were asking him about, like, okay, can you get more clarity on the timeline for the injury? He says he came in Monday or Tuesday or whatever it was last week and just had some pain in the neck. We don't have a timetable on his return, but we're very hopeful that he'll be back this season for sure. What does that mean?
Well,
you're hopeful that he'll be back? Will he be back?
It means nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess
so I'm like, it's all hedged.
That Nelly Bowen won't have a blowout in the next 6 months.
That doesn't mean anything.
You were scarred by that thing. That's like the 4th time you brought that up today.
I just forgot that a human that size could produce something like that. Yeah, hopeful. Again, I've said it before. I'm hopeful that I'll play Augusta National here in the next week or two, but I'll probably live in reality here. So anytime I hear a coach use the word hopeful.
No timetable, but we're hopeful.
Right. Well, of course you're hopeful.
That means nothing.
Right.
All right, coming up in a moment, we will turn our attention to the Indiana Pacers. Scott Agnes going to stop by, and we'll find out if they can start to get things turned around as they get even more healthy, and they finish up a 4-game road trip tonight. That's next, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Kevin, you've inspired people to start texting in pictures of their little ones' blowouts at this point in time. That's what you're getting on the text line.
Yeah, that was not my intention whatsoever. Shout out, Chris.
I prefer the text that Jeff was getting back in the day.
Oh, I do remember this.
I prefer more of those.
I
than what I'm
haven't
seeing
got
right
a lot
now.
of sleep lately, Mark. I don't recall this text. Could you fill us in?
I don't
maybe
even
on what
remember the
that
context of
was?
it, but some scantily clad woman was showing some
Yeah, what was that?
some
Jeff?
runway, I guess I would say.
I had
Runway, you said?
I was on the
Dear
receiving end of
Lord.
that. I had no idea what that was all about. None whatsoever.
It was literally it was for you, and it was said thanks to Jeff. I don't remember what the context was.
I'm telling y'all, man.
James
again.
jumped
I'd be
on it,
happy
though.
to dig through it. and
James
try
was
to
in
find
a
it.
hurry to start marital strife through that, though. I saw that.
No. You started this when you shouted out a random woman from a bakery or a diner you go to, and then had to double back and say, "Oh, here's the context." So no, don't do. Hey, Christine, if you want to black his eyes, I was not a part of this. Okay.
She's more likely to roll her eyes and tell the other person, "Yeah, good luck with that." Let's talk some basketball. The Indiana Pacers on the road to take on the Phoenix Suns later on tonight. Looking for a win. They finish up a 4-game road trip here. Joining us as always to talk about the Pacers every week, Scott Agnes on the Payless Liquors hotline. Good morning, Scott. This has not always been an easy watch through these first 11 games this year, has it?
No, it really hasn't, and it's all just because of pure health at this point, right? We knew Halliburton was going to be out, but you did not expect more than a dozen of the roster to hit the injury report at some time. But the good news is it's sliced in half down to 6. You got McConnell back as he eases his way back into the flow of things, and it can provide some normalcy now with players returning to the lineup.
Scott, Fieldhouse Files on the ground there in Florida as Caitlin Clark was teeing it up yesterday. Could you fill our audience that might have missed it on what Caitlin Clark was up to?
Yeah, and congrats to you and Maddie, of course. That's awesome.
Thank you, Scott.
But yeah, second straight year that Caitlin is down here playing in the Pro-Am. It's a tournament has Gamebridge's name on it as Zionsville Company, and it's Anna Kasorenstam is the tournament host. But she just teeing it up and was walking the entire round. I think by the end of it, all of us were a little bit tired, walking those 18 holes. Unfortunately, things heated up because it has been cold down here, KB. I'm talking residents and winter jackets and knit caps, and justifiably so. Like, it was down to 40 in the afternoon a couple days ago. But yesterday, all around, it was good to see her back and seeing those competitive juices flowing again, because that was something we have not seen from her since July. And so she was able to get some swings out there. I don't think she played particularly well. She was counseling with Nelly Corda's swing coach in the middle of the front nine, just the little things. But then she hit a big tee shot off 10 and shouted, "I'm back." And the best part about it overall, I think, was just to see the sheer volume of fans out on the grounds, along with her able to have two teammates in Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham to join her for the experience, as they walked around as celebrity caddies, and mostly they're just trying to hang out and bring more attention to the event.
That was my question. Do we read anything into the fact that moving forward with this roster kind of in flux and waiting to see what the salary cap situation is going to be and all that stuff? Do we read anything into the fact that Sophie Cunningham was there in a Fever caddy kind of jersey there, a penny? The fact that Caitlin Clark maybe just likes having those two people around her. Do we read anything into that, or is that too much?
I mean, I think it's a given that if they can figure out this collective bargaining agreement and the money is equal to kind of what the Fever can offer and other teams can offer, I think the Fever and Sophie absolutely want for this to continue. Same with Lexi, obviously, but she's a restricted free agent. But it all comes down to, Jeff, is what does the CBA look like, and then what does it mean for these players? And all of that we just do not know right now. But assuming there's a similar value in the offers, and it's nothing significant elsewhere, I see no reason Sophie even intends to go anywhere else. But I also think this is just friendship, and they could get some sponsorship dollars. They could be there out on the course, and they just had a good time with it and embraced all of it.
So what you're saying is showing up for your friends and also getting paid is not a bad idea.
No, sign me
not
up.
a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Scott, again, joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline. He has great coverage of the Fever and the Pacers at Fieldhouse Files. And, Scott, going back to the Pacers, how would you assess Jarris Walker's season so far? I know the roster has been in flux, but this was viewed as an opportunity for him to take a step forward. And personally, I'm not sure that he has.
Yeah, it just feels like it's been an experience. It feels like there's been all kinds of good momentum, and then it's like, ooh, there's a bad decision making, and the consistency for me has not been there, despite a significant opportunity being in the starting lineup for the majority of games. Now, he wasn't the last game, which was telling, as they threw a player on a 10-day hardship contract instead, who's just solid, and you know what you're getting from Robinson Earl, and I think. This isn't all along since Rick Carlisle got here, James. It's always been you got to earn it. You're never going to just be given a starting role, not just going to be given starting minutes or anything like that. Earn it every day, and I think that's the case right now for him. Is this moment right now he can't allow for it to pass him by, because you're right. This is a good test for him, a guy that missed the finals last year due to injury, and it just feels like he hasn't quite, knocked down the door just yet and been able to have that level of impact that really this team needs more than anything right now.
Talking to Scott Agnes on the Payless Liquors hotline right now. What do you think Rick Carlisle's been able to glean from this mishmash of lineups and seeing how guys play and who they work with and mostly who they don't work with? It's got to have been frustrating for him, but what do you think he takes from all this experience?
Yeah, it's one of those where it's so difficult to do much. Like early on, it was shot making for this team. Now that improved, and now it's defense again. I think there's got to be some positives in that. They've been able to play at their pace a lot throughout. I think we've gotten more understanding that center spot needs serious consideration for upgrades, whether it's in the midseason or whether it's the off season. They don't have that big time contributor that can really solidify that position just yet. And to be fair, maybe Isaiah Jackson grows more into that. I think Jay Huff has shown he's okay off the bench, but I don't foresee him earning a spot in that starting role. And the significance there, though, moving forward is telling. And then I'd like to see, obviously, we all would, to Benedict Matherin in the lineup and then ultimately be able to make more decisions than anything. But, Jeff, the telling point to me about this season, forget the wins and losses, the most frustrating thing if you're this coaching staff has to be injuries to players who could really maximize this opportunity, whether it's Benedict Matherin's the first guy I think about. Jarris Walker, who he touched on, he is healthy and able to be out there, but especially the young guys, the rookie Cam Jones, who we're not even sure when he's going to be able to return to the lineup, and Johnny Furphy and Quentin Jackson. So many things where he could maybe glean something. There just haven't been those ample opportunities.
Again, Fieldhouse Files, where you can find the work of Scott Agnes. He's with us here. Payless Liquors Hotline. Scott, did I see you were at the Noblesville Boom home opener?
I was, yeah, absolutely, over the weekend.
What were your thoughts? Just, I don't know, maybe more from a fan experience than anything.
Yeah, I would say it was nearly perfect. I think the only issues that I had heard about was with regard to parking, and everybody has to go to this kind of the same garage, and it got backed up, and some people like maybe missed the start of the game. I think those are all first game issues that hopefully they will be able to solve and rectify and not have be an issue moving forward. But overall, I think it's a great venue. There's not a bad seat in there, about 3,400 seats. And so it feels a lot more intimate. If you go to a Pacer game and you're in the balcony or club level, you're really not right there and feeling on top of things. I think you do hear, I think the kids are really going to be able to embrace it. And maybe this is a place where you can get a much cheaper ticket and see some of the future guys is what you're hoping for. I think it's great that they have a player that many sports fans in town know in Kyle Guy, and he's a guy that went from coaching for the last year and a half to not just on the team or in the starting lineup. He's one of the best players on this team, and certainly they would love to have some of the two-way guys, but right now they're called up with the Pacers. But I thought overall it was a good experience. The game experience, very reminiscent of a Pacer game, and that's because it's run by the same people that run Pacer games as well, the graphics, the video, all of that. And so this is a significant upgrade for the franchise. And my favorite thing, KB, about it is now the group can market to a city, to a community, not play games at noon on Tuesday, but instead Friday nights, Saturday nights, and that has been missing for the last 4 or 5 years.
And the arena's right. Is it right off 69, like kind of near Ruoff?
Yes, that's exactly right. You take the Ruoff exit and take a right, and then you go over, you go on a bridge across the interstate, and you're right there. So there can be some traffic congestion. My hope is that's the one thing that they'll be able to figure out here in the short term.
Always good to talk to you, Scott. Thanks for stopping by. Again, you are a busy, busy man everywhere from Florida for golf to Noblesville to the Fieldhouse, and you can check it all out at Fieldhouse Files. Good work, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
There he is on the Payless Liquors hotline. He is literally everywhere, that man.
Yeah, I almost thought Mark might dump him when he started complaining about the weather in Florida.
I just
At least
respect
the
that
snow
he
melted
mentioned that
here.
it was cold.
The snow melted here, so he didn't get dumped.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. When I was in Berlin looking at the weather back home, I'm like, wait, it's warmer here than it is in Indiana?
Part of me wanted to do leaves when I had these couple days off, and I'm like, I mean, there's snow all over them.
Well, between that and the wind yesterday, there's nothing but leaves in the yards now.
Although it looks great this weekend. And, again, shout out to high school football from a regional standpoint here coming up tomorrow night. And Monon Bell. I mean, it's going to be awesome weather over there in Crawfordsville for the 131st matchup coming up on Saturday.
You ever been able to make it out there for one of those?
Yeah, I've been to, I was going to guess 3 probably Monon Bell games. So, yeah, awesome atmosphere. Definitely needs to be on the Indiana or just national sport bucket list. I saw there's like watch parties all around the nation that DePaul alumni and Wabash alumni. It's funny, I think maybe 2 years ago, they've had some thrilling games lately. DePaul has been on the winning streak lately, but I showed up to Fat Dan's just with my family during the game, and I mean, that place was rocking. Listening to Greg Rakestraw, of course, and company as he broadcast the Monon Bell. So, yeah, great time, whether it's Crawfordsville or Greencastle.
All right, looking forward to that. Looking forward to tonight. It's to me, I don't very rarely, occasionally you get them, but a November midweek basketball game in college that is must-see TV. I've already blocked the whole evening out because Purdue at Alabama, this has the feel of, I mean, number 2 against number 8. This has got kind of a February feel to it tonight already, Kevin.
Well, I'd argue a March feel, kind of an Elite Eight type of atmosphere here. And again, kudos to Nate Oates, kudos to Matt Painter for continuing to schedule each other. They did the neutral site for Zach Edey, and I want to say there was an Alabama connection, maybe it was Mark Sears, for that a couple years ago. And then they did the home and home. And last year, Mackey was rocking, just absolutely rocking. C.J. Cox had a big-time second-half flurry there that kind of pushed Purdue ahead. Trey Kaufman-Renn was really good in that game, and so was LeBrain Philon, who, if you haven't seen Alabama play, he's a very dynamic guard, was really good in their win at St. John's. So they've already won. I think that St. John's game might have been Madison Square Garden, but they've already won against St. John's. And these are two coaches that they just schedule like none other in the non-conference. They want to play on campus. They want to really play tough opponents. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to this. 3.5-point underdog, the Purdue Boilermakers. Trey Kaufman-Renn will play in this game here. So, it'll be obviously vital for Purdue to get him back and just, have an ability to play their offense in a little bit of a different way. And I'm curious how that fits. Is it him? Is it Oscar Clough? Is it a little bit more congested? Because remember last year, Trey Kaufman-Renn was primarily a center. Well, with this iteration of Purdue, he probably is a little bit more of a 4-man. So how does that all look and fit with the Boilermakers?
Yeah, and even James, you'll be jury-rigging some television system to watch this game tonight, right?
Yes, I will. Got to make sure I can see the game.
That's all he's given us. He's not going to go into details right there.
Mark, we got Brownsburg people up in arms right now. Am I seeing this?
That's what I've heard. That is weak by Decatur Central, if that's true. Apparently, Decatur Central, Brownsburg, they're hosting Brownsburg on tomorrow night in the playoff game, and they are apparently limiting Brownsburg residents to 1,000 tickets. How is that even possible?
How does that work? Do you have to enter your zip code for a high school football ticket?
I don't know. I know the Brewers have
show
done it.
your ID
Can I
at the game?
Can I look up how to get
The Brewers have done it before with like Cubs games and all that stuff. I'm like,
the Brewers and Decatur Central's athletic department, I think, are different.
That's different. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you're restricting them buying tickets. I'm trying to look right now. I'm literally trying to see if I can purchase
You say
tickets.
you're friends with Mike Wells, you can't buy a ticket to the game?
Well, they might throw you out anyway.
Shout out to Decatur Central, 6A sectional title there. That might be their first. I don't know. Maybe they won one since they've made the climb up to 6A, but that should be a good one. Here coming up tomorrow night.
Well, I'd love to see it. Apparently, if I'm not one of
I can't,
1K,
I'm not buying this. How?
I know.
James Wood, will you buy a ticket right now?
I was going to say, I'm trying to
find it. I
get
can't find it.
This sounds like great high school Facebook drama.
If you don't have the right zip code, they just kick you out. Is that what it is online?
There's no way. And
I'm literally trying to buy tickets, and I don't see anything that's letting me buy tickets.
Going to lead off with Greg Gregshaw tomorrow with this.
I'm sure Craig can't wait to talk about that. All right, Mark, while you're trying to do that, let's check it down.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I do know they take their football seriously at Brownsburg, Kevin.
Well, this would
Defending
be the
state
reverse,
champs.
right?
Yeah.
This would be Decatur Central, right?
No, I'm just saying.
They would be the ones doing
it. Everybody takes football seriously.
Oh, Brownsburg's not messing around. From an athletic department standpoint, man, that indoor golf facility looks like you're getting ready for Augusta.
That entire facility in general looks fantastic. All right, moving on to what we're talking about today. Indianapolis Colts are on a bye week. They will play Kansas City a week from Sunday. They go in as the top-ranked scoring offense in the NFL at over 30 points a game, Kevin. What a turnaround from 12 months ago. I know we've talked about that before, but when you see the numbers right in front of you, as I was looking over those last night, it really is stark.
And cheer for the Jets tonight. If you want the Colts to be the 1 seed, Jets, big ol' underdog on the road against the Patriots Thursday Night Football. You want A.D. Mitchell to have a career game.
Could he make his debut for the Jets? He was inactive last week.
You need about 15 catches for A.D. tonight. That's what I'm looking for.
Are you going to the game?
Am I going to the Jets?
Is A.D. flying you out?
He might. If he gets
he
to
might
80.
need you. How great would that be? A.D. Mitchell's first ever touchdown. He hugs Jeff. Gives Jeff the ball.
Outstanding.
By the way, I had a lot of Jets people.
I'd put that up here in the studio.
James, I kind of forgot about this play. A.D. Mitchell obviously had the near touchdown against the Rams. His other near touchdown was against the Jets where he beat Sauce Gardner on a crossing route. All these Jets fans are tagging me in this.
Yeah,
Hey, remember when A.D. Mitchell cooked Sauce Gardner?
I got a few of those too.
Mitchell, I don't know how you describe it. It was a decent effort for A.D. Mitchell, diving for the end zone and fell like a half yard short on that. So, yes, we will see if A.D. Mitchell, as James says, plays, and cheer for the Jets tonight.
I'll probably keep one eye on that game, but I'm going to keep both eyes on that Purdue-Alabama game tonight. Wow.
I ain't gonna lie, Joe. You kind of walked into that one, brother.
I'm fine with that. Anything for the show. Number 2, Purdue at number 8, Alabama. The Boilers, of course, having a big day even without playing yesterday. They signed 7-foot 1-inch Sinan Huan, a 4-star prospect from the Chinese national team. That gives them a top 15 recruiting class, including Luke Ertl, of course. And what's crazy about that is generally they're not even ranked in the top 25 for recruiting classes, and they still do what they do every year.
Yeah, a lot of shooting. Obviously, Matt Painter had a ton of praise for Luke Ertl yesterday and just his competitive spirit. And, one thing to note about Purdue is, and this is why this run and this season has been talked about so much, not only is the Final Four at Lucas Oil, but, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Trey Kaufman-Renn unfortunately can't play forever. So they exit, and you're going to have to reload it, and it looks like on paper they've got a really nice class.
Last night, college basketball, Indiana University at home in Bloomington, an easy winner over Milwaukee, 101-70. Really shooting the lights out of the basketball, 14-28 from three-point range. Lamar Wilkerson had 24 points. Dayton Connerway had 21, and it looks like Coach DeVries got himself an offensive machine down there, at least early on this year.
Yeah, I mean, they share it and they shoot the hell out of it. And, obviously you'll have further questions to be answered defensively and rebounding-wise, but, I mean, the stats are insane. I mean, it's Indiana basketball playing modern. And I know that sounds very elementary, but it's something you didn't do really at all in the Mike Woodson era or in the Archie Miller era. So, and I was impressed by Nick Dorn. I know a lot of intrigue over him, the Elon transfer, and he's been banged up this offseason. I think he adds a little bit of a different element to them. And, yeah, I mean, for Tucker DeVries to only have 2 at halftime and you put up 50, Indiana's got some flamethrowers.
All right. Meanwhile, in the NBA tonight, the Indiana Pacers back in action. They'll be in Phoenix to complete a 4-game road trip against the Suns. 9 o'clock tip, 8:30 airtime here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. I'll probably watch a little bit of that as well. And, James, an opportunity to try and snag something off this road trip and just leave a couple of really bad games behind them.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, again, you continue to look at Tankathon.
That's where we're at. 11 games in, we're talking Tankathon.
I'm dead serious. It's a great freshman class, and I would say if you give all the Pacer staff some truth serum, they wouldn't mind landing one of those guys next year.
I don't think Rick Carlisle is going to enjoy that, though.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, James leads off with that on Tuesday with Rick. Rick, have you viewed Tankathon here lately? Have you?
Click.
Have you been?
Yeah,
to
I don't think
website?
that's his job.
No, I do think. Yeah, I mean, I thought there was a part of me in the offseason when the Halliburton injury came down of okay, what's the best case scenario for this Pacers season? Is it some competitive 6-game series against whatever the Hawks in a 4-5 matchup, or is it potentially getting a piece for next year? And right now it's trending in the opposite direction. But again, I think it's worth pointing out whenever Matherin gets back, assuming it's within the next week or so, now you're pretty much back to your core that you thought you'd have this season, minus Obi Toppin. So I think at that point, can you resurrect some things and try to sniff back to the top 8?
All right, NBA last night, pretty exciting game as the Warriors beat the Spurs 125-120. Steph Curry scored 46, which was needed because Victor Wembanyama had 31 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. What's this guy going to look like after he's a 5 or 6 year veteran, James Boyd?
I mean, he's a special talent, so it's hard to really put your mind around it, honestly.
It's crazy. So on a night when Curry scores 46 and Wemby has 31, 15, and 10, Nikola Jokic had 55 as the Nuggets beat the Clippers 130-116, and he just continues to amaze as well. I would say there's some pretty good players right now in the NBA. They're doing okay for talent, Kevin Bowen.
Yeah, I'd say there's a pretty good player in South Bend as well. Shout out to Hannah Hidalgo last night for Niele Ivey and the Irish. She had a Notre Dame record 44 points in the game. You would think that would be enough. She exited with, I think it was like 7 minutes left in the game. Yet she also had 16 steals. 16 steals in 27 minutes of basketball. That is an NCAA record, women or men. She threw in 9 rebounds and 4 assists to go with it.
I need video of this.
Oh, there's video. There's
I got to
plenty
check
of it.
this out. I respect her again. I think she's fantastic. But, boy, all these other players, work on the handles a little bit more, please.
16
That's absurd.
steals. 85-58 was the final score in that one. And Mark's favorite portion of the check down, more baseball awards in Major League Baseball. The Cy Youngs handed out yesterday. Pirates.
They've been giving up before Kevin went on paternity leave. They were giving out these awards. Now they're still giving them out.
We'll have a Christmas
That
present
is crazy
for some
that
of those.
it's taken this long. It snowed since the season ended.
Mark, I do have a regret that I believe that you don't have the same one I do. One of the regrets I think I have from a sports viewing standpoint in our city, there's so many great teams, great events, great players that have come through here. Me not going to attend an Indian start by Paul Skeens is a regret that I'm going to have. You did see him pitch? Is
No,
that right?
we were going to, and one of our middle daughter got sick and threw up on the car ride over, and we're like, turn around. We're not doing this. So we turned around. Yeah, I mean, that is one of my big regrets, but it's also it's very short-lived. You only got a handful of starts.
Yeah, it was
from
a
Paul
month,
Skeens.
month plus.
Yeah, and he was gone.
Well,
On to bigger and better.
Paul Skeens, the National League Cy Young Award winner in his second season, and the Tigers' Tarek Skubal takes home the American League Cy Young Award for the second straight year.
So when Paul Skeens is on TV, do you tell your daughter, hey, look what you ruined? I could have saw this?
I could have seen that guy.
Boy.
And I just stare at the side eye.
Some parenting 101 right there.
That's when Mark remembers the blowouts that he had to endure.
That's why I keep a bottle of Pepto-Bismol in my car at all times. You never know.
All right, anything else you guys want to throw in?
Diarrhea,
Before we,
So I'm looking.
Jason
So
Hammer?
I found the site for the tickets. It seems like it must be sold out because you can't buy any. But I don't see anything that says it restricts you for.
Apparently, tickets are going out tomorrow as well. Like there might be some, but yeah, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get a feel of how this 1,000 cap.
There's
is
always
happening.
great fan drama, like regardless of any sport, regardless of any college, SEC fan drama, Paul Feinbaum, et cetera, et cetera. But the great high school he said, she said drama, and like I can only imagine what Facebook looks like. It's just great. Can you believe this school corporation's doing that? Can you believe that athletic department is doing that?
I remember fans were mad
so good
that they couldn't get more tickets to the state finals during COVID. I was like, be glad you have a season across the state lines in Illinois. They don't have anything. So, yes, I agree.
Yeah, Justin Brownsburg says the link to the public tickets is not available yet, but apparently Brownsburg offered to bring in temporary seating for Decatur Central, and DC declined. Well, that's unsurprising because they probably don't want their stadium overrun, but still. I need more info. I'm invested now.
Carry the bleachers from Hendricks County down there.
I miss the opportunities of just showing up and getting the ticket in person and if you didn't get it, you just couldn't go.
Now you
All
do
of this
sound
stuff.
like now you do sound like Unk.
I do.
You were talking
Yeah,
about that yesterday.
I'm in my Unk status. All of that, I got to pay extra fees.
Back in my day,
I pay
just walked
online
up.
for something.
Here's
I got
what
to pay
I'll do,
extra
Mark.
fees.
I'll make everybody happy. I'll give away 4 tickets to a family 4-pack of tickets to go see Butler in their next home game. How about that?
Tack on some
You wanna do
Decatur
that?
Central tickets, too.
Those might be harder to get apparently right now.
You think that's the way it's going to be? No. How about this? The Wright State game on Black Friday. For a family 4-pack to go see Butler at Hinkle Fieldhouse. All you got to do is text me, 239-1070, the word Bulldog. And we will select the winner within the next 15, 20 minutes or so. Bulldog at 239-1070. 4 tickets, family 4-pack to go see Butler and Wright State on Black Friday. Coming up in a moment, we'll see what's on the mind of Jason Hammer when it comes to putting some money down this weekend. That comes your way next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We're just here to help all the time. We're trying to find ways to pad your bank account at every opportunity. We're trying to give you deals, trying to give away tickets. By the way, you still got time, 239-1070. You want to get a family 4-pack to a Butler game on Black Friday against Wright State. Just text me the word Bulldog, and we will select a winner not too long from now. In the meantime, a way to make you a little bit of money. I know Kevin's interested in jumping back into the game after he took a week off there to welcome in his new family member. And
took the week off from gambling? No.
Trust me. Right there.
That was still taking place. I was going to say, if I'm in the hospital for 48 hours, I'm just going to sit there and do nothing.
I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt over there, Kevin. You just, you gotta dedicate yourself.
We got a third
fully.
529 that Jason Hammer's got to fund.
How'd it go?
Very productive. Thank you to the under last week, Jason Hammer.
There you go.
You were all over that.
Dude, I can't take any sort of credit for that turd of a game last week. It felt like that was free money, the under. By the way, this is rare we have a full cast in here. Like the last couple of weeks, Rickard's been gone. You've got the international man of mystery going over to Germany. Bowen's family's dropping shorties like they're the Cromarties. Like, it's nice to have the band back together here. And listen,
Kevin can still name all the kids, though.
Yes. Right. So any plans already to make the new arrival a lefty? Are you working on a dribble? Are we banking on this being the athlete that kind of pays for the retirement here?
Yeah, I had a listener, Dan, reach out earlier and said Nelly sounds like an Olympic athlete name. And I'm like, well, if she has genes that are not Kevin Bowen's, then maybe there will be some potential there.
Shout out Maddie. You got to carry.
Maddie, carry us
here.
Well,
listen, I don't think it's ever too early to start the hype. So I pulled some strings here, Kevin, and here to break down the athletic prowess of the new arrival to the Bowen family. Please welcome in A.I. Mel Kiper Jr.
Look, the latest Bowen daughter has a lot of intangibles. Nelly has speed. Her 40-yard dash time is elite. She has quickness and the wow factor, just like the rapper Nelly. When she plays, it gets hot in her. Now. That being said, Nelly will have some people saying the genes just aren't there. Her dad is well known to NFL scouts and executives for being slow and goofy. Kevin is so slow and white, he makes Clay Aiken look like Micah Parsons. Kevin is also a locker room cancer. Kevin has been known to go to the gross unisex bathroom in the hallway and make it even worse. Scouts are saying Kevin P sitting down, but also poop standing up. If Nelly can get past the views of her old man, I see her as a top 10 pick with upside.
Upside. You hear that, Kevin? Upside for young Nelly right there.
Very, very good. I think that's our first Mel Kiper AI.
Yeah.
The Clay Aiken reference, chef's kiss.
Clay Aiken's so good. Now, I've asked you this for several weeks now, and I was hoping that with all of us back together, and we'll get to tonight's picks, Degenerates Next Door, Jason Hammer's podcast, obviously Hammer and Nigel, where you can find him as well every afternoon, WIBC. When are we getting the AI Jeff Rickard?
Oh, it's coming.
You missed it. Didn't we have one?
No, I was here last Thursday, and it was not here.
We've had people talking about Jeff Rickard, but we haven't had actual AI.
Because we've gotten James Boyd. Yes. We've had a Kevin Bowen, so...
Right. It's kind of like I went and saw Paul McCartney in concert over the weekend, right?
Oh, nice.
Now, McCartney's not going to bang through all of the hits right away. You got to space him out a little bit. You're going to get some wings in there. You're going to get some solo, but then you're going to come back to maybe some Live and Let Die and Love Me Do. So we're spacing it out. He's on the schedule. We'll get there.
Makes sense. Okay, tonight, another divisional game with a heavy underdog. Mark Dykton has already expressed his financial backing of the New York Jets here with, what is it, climb to 13?
It's a big number. Yeah. And listen, I said on our podcast, these last couple Thursday night games have been like bringing home a girl from Southport. It's not your finest hour, but at the end of the night, it'll probably be good just enough to get you through to where you look forward to better things during the weekend.
This is like Charles Barkley's big old women.
Just to clarify,
what's your social media handle?
That's a Beach Grove human saying that.
What's your social media handle?
Oh, my gosh.
You can find me at Jason Allen Hammer, at Hammer and Nigel, either one. Send your complaint emails to Tony Katz at WIBC.com.
This is Charles Barkley.
But no, listen, we were talking off the air. Which team, the Jets or the Browns, makes you go, crap, when they're on national TV more? I think it's the Jets. And Mark's right. This is such a big number. It reeks of that backdoor cover where I could see the Patriots getting up big and then pulling out Drake May. It's an early week. They rest some starters. Jets get the confidence-boosting touchdown to screw you. It's a big number. So I'm looking at the first half here tonight. I'm going to lay 7.5 first half with the Patriots. I think they're going to want to get out to a lead, establish themselves, get the crowd going, and 7.5, okay, that I can do. I don't like getting into 2 touchdown territory here. So first half, this is our big bet tonight. We're going to lay 7.5. So in essence, 9 or 10 on the Patriots first half.
I like that. The more I think, I hadn't thought about that, but the more I think about that, I like that more than your take on the Southport.
Thank you, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Now, prop bet wise, okay, let's get back on the wagon here. If you think the Patriots are going to win the night, then I feel like these are connected. And I do think the Patriots are going to win. Drake May under 28.5 attempts. I don't think he's going to need to throw the ball 30 times to beat the Jets tonight. I just don't. And if they're up big, don't know if they will be, but if they are, how much of that fourth quarter is he playing? Are they running out the clock? Are they handing the ball off? We're going to go under 28.5 attempts on Drake May. And for the Jets, because we always like to have action on the screen at all times, Breece Hall, combined total rushing and receiving yards over 79.5. This is combined rushing and receiving. Somebody's got to touch the football for the Jets. It's not like it's going to be a deep downfield aerial assault here. So we're going to ride the lightning with Breece Hall over 79.5 combined receiving and rushing yards tonight.
Did you see Kevin Bowen writing down everything you said?
Yes.
As the teacher's son that he is?
Right. I'm going to put these in the pocket, whip them out at dinner tonight, and say, all right, family, this is what we're on tonight. Are we touching A.D. Mitchell? Did we get wind? Jeff, did you say plus 1,000 for an A.D. Mitchell touchdown?
Anytime touchdown plus 1,000,
So
plus 6,000 for the first touchdown.
So that would be $10 to win 100. Right?
How would you like to have that $6,000 bet almost won, right? You put $100, and then he crosses the goal line and drops the ball again. Can you imagine the emotional roller coaster
James
of
Boyd
that?
wants that more than anything. James Boyd wants that pettiness on a Friday morning.
I would feel so bad for him at that point. I think I would actually have a heart at that point. He cannot have that happen again in his career ever. Oh, my Lord.
You probably haven't looked at it, so it might be an unfair question, but what do you think about the Denver-Kansas City game on Sunday afternoon?
Bo Nix is so hard to bet. Like, is Denver the worst really good team in the league?
Yes.
Like, they're sitting there, 8-2 right now?
Yeah.
But you can always count on a few boneheaded
Their
picks by Bo
defense
Nix.
is always going to keep them in it, though.
Right. But, I mean, man, I don't know. I always like to fade Bo when I get a chance, but that's the salty SEC guy in me. I remember when he was at Auburn betting against Bo in a big game.
That was like 9 years ago, wasn't it?
It was like betting against James Franklin. Just write me the check right now, and we'll be fine.
Anything else you like college-wise? Indiana is a massive favorite over Wisconsin. I believe that number is 30. Purdue is about a 3-touchdown underdog at Washington here. College game day, Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. That's right around 10 points. Anything you like?
So let's look at I think the biggest game on the schedule is Oklahoma and Bama. I love the over in this one. I know everybody loves the Oklahoma defense. As a Tennessee Vol guy, though, I saw Tennessee shred them through the air. And if Tennessee doesn't pee down their own leg with a scoop in the score in the red zone, another turnover in the red zone, they put up at least another 14 on Oklahoma. And I think Bama's a lot better than Tennessee. Bama's at home. Simpson might be playing the best out of any quarterback in the country. I know the IU fans would disagree, but he's up there in the conversation. I think you'll see some points here. You're not going to shut down Bama at home. I think Oklahoma gets on the board. I see 45.5. I'm going to ride the Lightning. And tonight, if you don't want to watch the Jets, I got a little Thursday degenerate special for you boys.
Oh, I like this.
Troy at Old Dominion. Troy at Old Dominion, the line is 11. Old Dominion is a home favorite. Now, Old Dominion's pretty good. IU fans remember them from week 1. They didn't embarrass themselves, and they score some points. They got a good quarterback. He's a dual threat guy. And with this being a primetime game, sounds like the university's really into it. It's also Military Appreciation Night. They've got one of the biggest naval bases there near Norfolk, Virginia. So it's going to be a pretty fun environment tonight. And I think Old Dominion just puts a beat down on Troy. This isn't a very good defensive team for Troy. Normally they're good defensively. Not this year. just
Honey,
like Tennessee.
what are we watching tonight? Purdue, Alabama.
And
The
what is-
Pacers have
what is
got
the
a
name?
game.
What is the name of
Thursday
that
night
podcast?
football. No. We're watching.
Yeah.
You just broke down Troy and Old Dominion for 2.5 minutes.
Because the name of the podcast is
Degenerates Next Door. And the money you win on Old Dominion tonight spends the same as that A.D. Mitchell touchdown.
Jason Hammer. Go check your social media out there. Southport pouring
pray
in.
for the Southport
As
crew.
a Beach Grove kid, I've been fighting with those fatties in Southport my whole life. Bring it on.
Jason will meet you at the Walmart.
You want to get
down
nuts,
there.
Southport? Let's get nuts. Come on.
He'll meet you at 3 at the Walmart down
This
there,
man
right?
is like Charles Barkley.
Man, oh man.
Those big old women in San Antonio.
Thank you, I think, Jason.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. We'll
Let's
talk
win
to
some
you
money
soon.
tonight, boys. Let's go. Congratulations, KB.
Thank you, Hammer.
All right, we're going to back it all up with some great sound that you have to hear, and I'll name a winner of that family 4-pack to go see Butler and Wright State on Black Friday. Coming up next, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I'm feeling attacked, Mark Dykton. I shared something with you in confidential tones right before the show today.
Well, most of the songs have been in honor of Kevin welcomed baby Nelly into the world. But then this last one, Jeff said, you know what song's been stuck in my head? And I was humming it in the shower today? The new Taylor Swift song. I know exactly what I'm playing before we get out of here, just so it stays in your membrane for a little longer.
So with the algorithm on TikTok a couple of days ago, I guess it was about 2 days ago, I was sitting with my mom in her hospital room up there. I'm looking at TikTok, and I watched one of these Taylor Swift. Somebody was doing the dance or something to the Taylor Swift song there. And so my algorithm saw that. So for like the next hour, I got different versions of people either dancing to or lip syncing this song. And it's been in my head ever since. And I can't get rid of it, James. How do you get rid of an earworm? That's what I want to know.
An ice pick, usually.
I was going to say, I don't know. I haven't had those issues. I do have a question about baby names, though.
Yeah.
For Kevin Vaughn. So what is your daughter's full name again?
Annalise.
Annalise.
Yes.
Aaron called her Nelly.
Correct.
So this is from the guy who has no kids. Why not just name her Nelly if everyone's going to call her Nelly?
Yeah, there's a little.
I've always thought that. Not towards you, but anybody. I'm like, well, I'm never going to call you this.
We do the same thing with Rosie. We call her Rosemary. So Rosemary has a family element. Maddie's middle name's Rose. Her grandma is Rose. So we wanted.
So you go into it just knowing like this is your formal name.
Yeah.
But we're probably never going to call you.
No, it's kind of weird. It's kind of odd.
No, it's not odd at all. I just think that it's cool that you know from birth, like, yeah, we're only going to call you that when you're in trouble.
Yeah, like my grandma was Ann, A-N-N, and so that's like the start of Annalise. So I like that element to it.
Everybody wins.
Maddie's mom is Lisa. Maddie's sister's Anna. But like we didn't want to name them Anna, Lisa, those sorts of things.
I'm glad you didn't. I have an uncle and a cousin. They're like, I feel like everyone in my name chooses, in my family chooses like the same 5 or 6 names. So you call one name and it's like 3 people might come, and I'm like, just choose a different name, please. So
yeah, and
I congratulate you on that.
We I coached soccer a few years ago, and one of the girls on the team was Eleanor, and they called her Nelly. And so, like, I think there's a couple of different ways, some people.
I'm a nickname guy. If you give me a name that has more than...
Are you James on a birth certificate, obviously?
Yeah, I am.
Nobody ever called you Jimmy as a kid growing up or anything like that?
No,
teachers?
They never did. I mean, I would have taken to it, but it just never really happened.
I always thought, like, when I first saw the picture of you saying Nelly, I was like, this goes back to when we were talking about Nelly and Ja Rule concert. He got inspiration right there.
I did think about this, too. Until you explained it, I'm like,
I just assumed that's where you got it from. It's a good
we went to dinner last Thursday night.
Put it on me.
And Maddie, pulls out this loose leaf of paper, and here we are with like 8 names trying to sift through here. So yeah.
So how does
Chloe was another favorite.
How did the voting breakdown go? Does Maddie get final
Louise
say?
Was the name that she liked, but this is probably the most.
Louise.
This is the most mutual name.
Yeah, I like the way it came about.
And she kind of got probably the pick of Max. I thought Max sounded like a dog.
Oh, there you go.
Now he's my
dog.
Well,
he going to be a dog on the court one day.
All right.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
like Red Man out
we got to wrap it up. Congratulations to Chris Landers, who's won the family 4-pack to go see the Butler Bulldogs against Wright State on Black Friday. Thanks for listening, and thanks to everybody for texting in. Just a ton of them there at the 239-1070. Appreciate that. Have yourselves a great day. We've got Jake coming your way. No, not Jake today. He'll be replaced today, so we'll look forward to seeing noon to 3 there. I think it's Rake in here today. And then JMV from 3 to 6. Enjoy your day.